was about to say, I'm not even going to trust the countdown. Was the countdown correct on you guys' end?
Yo, it was definitely legit on my side.
Mine was stuck on 29 seconds for like 12 seconds. So I was like, I'm going to just smile, grin, and bear it and be ready for you guys when we pop up. Anyway, what's going on, guys? It is Tuesday. And, you know, on Tuesdays, we have our live panel review. We are here to discuss Ready to Love Miami, episode number 11. I'm so excited about this episode. One huge reason is because the next episode is like the last episode. We get to see exactly who's going to be choosing who, what's going to be happening, what drama is going to arise, who said what, and guess what? The reunion is right after that. I am here for it. I heard that this season was holy messy for the reunion, and I'm, as Tyrone would say, I am with the it's, okay? I am with it. Well, anyway, you guys know in the very beginning, I like to go around the room, have everyone introduce themselves. And of course, if you miss it in the beginning, you can catch it in the end too. But we're going to go ahead and start. We're already a little behind schedule. So we're going to go ahead and start with Tyrone, then Sharice, then it's J-Dub, then P.O.
What's up, everybody? Tyrone Wilson from Ready to Love DC. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll keep it quick. Let's get it tonight. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sharice, season 6, Miami, Ready to Love. And yes, let's get it on tonight, talking about Ready to Love. Don't forget to follow me at Sharice Logan and Logan Skincare.
What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J-Dub. It's J-Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube. And I do detailed reviews on reality shows, just like Ready to Love and everything else you can think of. Check me out.
What's going on, folks? It's your man P.O. Season 5, Potomac. You know, you catch me on IG at 100 sightings. I am your brown liquor fantasy.
Hold on. What?
Never mind.
The end.
Okay, so moving forward, we might address that a little bit later during intermission. I don't know. We're gonna have to come back.
You know, I always have to be abstract and say something crazy.
Oh my God!
So there you have it.
So if you sipping on some dark tonight, that means you sipping on some PO, and they actually might be sipping. So so shout out to all you guys. We literally just got started, and I already have 67 of you watching and in the chat. Shout out to you guys. You guys know without you there is no us. I appreciate it. If you have not hit that thumbs up, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you put your thoughts and your comments in the comment section, because you guys know we put them on the screen, and we sometimes interact with you guys and engage with you guys from the comments that you actually put on there. Make sure that everyone is respectful. Make sure you respect the panelists. Make sure you respect each other, and let's get started. All right, before we get started, does anyone have anything to say?
I do.
Okay.
Let me just go first. I'm going to go out on a limb and live up to my my word, which I said, you know, if I was wrong in my predictions, you know, that I would own that. And yes, I did not deliver. I failed, right? I failed, and they really took me for a ride this time. You know, normally I got clear vision, but they got me. They got me this time. So it is what it is. I'm ready to take the lashing. Let's go. Tyrone?
No, I agree with you. I was gonna go a whole nother route and say, you know, this is what, the 4th or 5th season in a row where we don't see any sisterly love at the end. Like, what's going on? Why are we still hating on each other in the end?
Right.
All right. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. And my thing is that, well, I'm still trying to figure out why people are saying, I still don't know who I'm going to choose yet. Anyway, that's all I got.
I have a theory. I have a couple theories why. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, I'm here to listen. J-Dub, you have anything, Sharice?
You can go ahead, Sharice.
You can go. I'll think about what I want to say.
Oh, okay. Well, Stacy B isn't here because she makes references to who called out move Tony from up top, and that would be me. And I've said it from the beginning. The guy is no good, and it wasn't hard to see then, and it's definitely not hard to see now. The true colors have shown themselves. The mask is off. That's it.
Cherise?
I would have to say that yes, by the time you get to the getaway, you should know who you're connecting with. For sure.
No.
So it's interesting that they're still not, it's interesting.
This whole season was interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. This whole season was interesting. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's move on. All right. So in the beginning of the episodes, let me go ahead and put y'all know I like to put my little pictures up here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put my picture up while I'm presenting the facts of what we are about to discuss. All right. So the picture that is up, of course, is because the episode begins with the cliffhanger from last week. Sue Ann and Mercedes are both up for elimination, and Andre is pretty much delivering the news. Unfortunately, Sue Ann is eliminated, and she goes around the room and says goodbye to everybody. And Jeffrey does mention in confessional, which we see, how everyone was loving and supporting on Advocate Sue, but everyone knew what it was, and it was BS. So she says pretty much Advocate Sue just strikes out the door. So Tommy speaks with the singles and tells them that the power does shift back into the women's hands, and one man will be eliminated at the end of the week. Da, 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 da. So Sue Ann is eliminated. Did y'all think that Sue Ann would be eliminated?
I didn't at all. Obviously, I put all my chips on that. And the reason being is because there was so much activity that took place, and I thought that they was going for the wow effect in terms of the drama and the disbelief. I really didn't think that they would give the fans the satisfaction of seeing her off and ultimately, leading to Blake leaving. So,
yeah.
For me, I wasn't surprised at all. I thought it was overdue because Sue has aligned herself with Blake, and I knew that was a mistake from the beginning. And I thought she was like one of the underachievers on this show. I thought she was gonna be so much more. I thought the guys would be trying to get with Sue so much, but she, like I said, she locked in with Blake, but not locked in with a connection. She locked in to be his advocate, and I was so glad to see that she was gone, because once I knew Sue was gone, Blake was gonna follow. So that's what I've been waiting for this. I'm done.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm not a fan of the eliminations, especially at this point. If they are gonna, advocate for love, then they should try to support the connections that are there. But I get it. I understand. But this also tells me, a little more about Sue Ann and Blake's connection. Maybe it's not as strong as we thought, So once she left, I had a strong feeling Blake was going to be gone too. Not that I wanted them to leave, like I wanted to see that success story in them, but I get it. At this point, I think they should just eliminate people who either have multiple connections or no connections at all at this point. But it is what it is.
Well, let me make up for being gone. So I just need to know, as Todd, you actually saw a genuine connection between Sue Ann and Blake?
I mean, there was something there. They had something longer than anyone else on the show.
Yeah, they had an alliance. They had a supervisor and employee relationship. It wasn't a connection. Did you hear Blake talk about anything? I mean, other than being at the friend date where like him and Sue had a actual future together, or a connection was taking place? I didn't see any of that, but yeah.
I mean, it could be kind of difficult because in Blake's defense, it wasn't really a lot of people there that met, you know, some of the things that he was looking for. Like, for the simple fact that he had 3 kids already and wasn't going to have any more, 70% of the women are already gone. So it wasn't like he had a lot to choose from, but it seemed like he gave it a shot, you know, and that's something I got to give him credit for.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, you know, you have to really account for dates not being shown in terms of like Sue Ann being closed off, or you know how like folks were saying she was closed off. I believe that she probably had several dates, like a lot of them, that probably weren't shown, and based off of the storyline and the direction they wanted to take, you know, they rode with the Blake thing. As with Blake, you know, I'm sure that Blake had more connections than Sue Ann. Otherwise, he would have been gone a long time. And I know from a viewer's perspective, when you look at that, you see it and you're like, nah, there's no way, there's no way. But trust and believe, they're probably taking like that last person's, you know, vote on him, and they're piling it up. Doesn't mean that they're all shouting Blake out and saying that he needs to go from the door.
So hold up, Ty, but I said not Ty, I meant to say PO. You said you were sure that Blake had more connections.
Oh, for sure.
You saw some more dates, or somebody spoke about Blake maybe in a way of
So
connection.
yeah, so okay, so just think about it. Cindy and Mercedes, they all, like, you know, when everybody was coming down on Blake, right? They were speaking positively of him. And so that was an indication that there had to be something there, other than, you know, just kind of what we saw. You know what I mean? And then you got to think about it. A lot of things didn't make sense. Like, why is he on the phone talking to Jeffrey? You know, if they don't have some sort of connection from the beginning.
Yeah, I got the Jeffrey part, but like I said, I only go by what I see and what's happening in front of me. So no one ever spoke about they enjoyed Blake, or they spent some time, or they're trying to understand him, or
Right,
anything
but the
like that.
people,
We never
yeah,
saw
but
any of that.
the folks though that did speak positively of him never spoke negatively about him either. And so that's a clear indication that there had to have been some connectivity there. Because I mean, if you think about it, you know, a person's not going to say, or a person's not going to speak fondly of you if there's nothing there. But at the same time, you never heard Mercedes, you never heard Cynthia say anything bad about him, like the rest of the people.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I just want to say, hey, Stacy B, hey, Really B TV, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey.
So right now we're discussing literally the very beginning. We're discussing Sue Ann and Mercedes, them at the elimination, at the getaway, and Sue Ann being eliminated.
So I was right, Paul.
Yes, you were, and I'll own it. You were right on.
I didn't give you a hard time.
we was 50-50, and it was going to go either way. So there's that.
Yeah. Stacy B, do you have anything with the elimination with Sue Ann? My question to everyone was, did everyone pretty much think that it was going to be Sue Ann to be eliminated? And with your thoughts on it?
I didn't think it was going to be Sue Ann to be eliminated, but I mean, I kind of put 2 and 2 together because, like, you know, when they arrived at the retreat, like, they were kind of scarce. They weren't really shown together that much. And then the little bit that they did show of Sue Ann, like, I really enjoyed, like, her conversation with Anthony, right? Isn't that his name? The doctor,
Mm-hmm.
the physician assistant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anthony.
Everybody's starting to run together for me. But I enjoyed her conversation. I feel like that was the first time we actually got to see, like, more of her personality and, like, why other people are interested in her. So I kind of, like, had this itching sensation that it might be it for Sue Ann based on, like, the scarceness, but then, like, how much information we got at one time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of felt like Sue Ann was going to go to. I just felt like it was the time. I felt like how you guys, some of you guys felt about Blake and Sue Ann making it all the way to the end, because like I know connections from other seasons where it was just them and they made it all the way to the end. So it was actually kind of shocking. But then too, Mercedes, she had two connections, which was Mark Anthony and Anthony. So I feel like at the end of the day, somebody kind of had to go, and they had to kind of pick, and it would have made more sense to have Sue Ann go, which was unfortunate because I kind of wanted to see her and Blake kind of play out, you know? Yeah, so, but just to let everybody know too, since we are kind of discussing it, I just want to give a shout out to let everybody know that the Missing Link is back on. Real quick plug. The Missing Link is back on TV and back on my channel. And I will have Jonique from the season. She just recently got eliminated. So Jonique will be on Wednesday with the Missing Link, and then Wendell Moss will be on Thursday night at 8 p.m. So definitely tune in for that. So all right, I'm sorry, guys. That was just a quick little plug. Does anyone have anything else to say about the elimination of Sue Ann?
Just shout out to her. Like, you never want to. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to speak from a viewer. Again, I know that you guys have the advantage of knowing what's happening behind the curtain because you guys went through it. But from a viewer's point of view, for me, the way it was edited led us down that road. And I know what you're saying, Sabrina, that there are people who have made it where they've just had that like joy and Clifton, that one-on-ones. It seemed like the majority of the season. But it just made sense to me that the way they edited it was that Mercedes still had the people on the fence, but Sue Ann was like zeroed in. And then, of course, they had that goodbye conversation between her and Anthony. I just feel like the editing, and again, you know, doesn't always mean it makes sense, but that's, as a viewer, that's why I was like, yeah, it makes sense that Suzanne is the one, and it makes sense for Blake to go right behind her, because, again, whatever connections they weren't showing it. Just like Sabrina, you said, hey, I was going out with other people other than, you know, on my season, but that's not what they were showing y'all. So just based on what I was saying as a viewer, that's just kind of where I was with it. And honestly, I wasn't surprised when Blake left, because why would he stay? Like,
exactly. Yeah. And we're going to get into that. Tyrone, what were you getting ready to say?
No, I was just going to send a quick shout out of support to Sue Ann, you know, and if I miss anyone that gets voted off, you know, especially at this point, you know what I mean? Like, you got to show some support. It's exhausting, you know, as you can see. So, yeah. Yeah, it sucks. All right, guys. So moving forward, let me add this to the stream. Let me grab my notes real quick. After the elimination, everyone gathers in the kitchen. Cynthia and Morgan are cooking, and Tony asks, hey, what you guys cooking? And Morgan says, pasta with turkey. Tony responds, yeah, you know I love to eat. Ain't that right, baby? You know I love to eat. Linden says that Tony is the reason why Morgan is avoiding him. She is being made uncomfortable. He says that he has to figure out what is going on between them. It's now or never. So, with that whole comment about, you know, I love to eat, what y'all getting from that? What kind of energy are y'all getting from that? Y'all already know what kind of energy I think is given, but am I tripping or no?
No, you're not tripping. And you know what, I've said this before. What it sounds like he likes eating his naps, and so he and I mean, come on, these innuendos, you know, and to give her that serious look, like, you know what time it is. Yeah, you know, we already know he been down that road. He done slid down that slippery slope.
Yeah, it was giving. If you don't know, I want you to know, and you know now. That's what it was.
Let everybody know.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I'm sure they already knew, right? He wanted the world, like the TV land people, to know. Because I mean, listen, I mean, I'm not even gonna break code, but I'll say this. You know, there's no way that you could be around a group of guys and somebody, you know, you always have that one person that can't hold water and they spill it. You know what I'm saying? And then they let the group know. So somebody, you know, he probably spilled that to one person and somebody couldn't hold water and let the whole, you know, group know what it was. But they definitely talked about it.
Somebody said, "Why Sabrina say it like that?" That's how he said it. That's how he said it.
He said it worse than that.
Right.
They did.
I just wanted y'all to be in the moment so y'all could feel what.
You know how I like to eat, Morgan.
Right.
It was cringy.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, let me clutch my pearls.
It was beyond cringy. It was beyond clenched pearls. It's burn the pearls and put some peroxide in my ear, let it drip out, go get a Q-tip and wash it out. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, he is this many years old and sitting at this table kissing and telling. Like, if it's one thing I cannot stand is people who kiss, you can't wait to kiss and tell. See, that's why, Lord, that's why I just be skeptical about dating now. Because what you gonna do? Go put me on blast on national TV and you ain't just like lukewarm it like, oh, that's that. Oh, I got a smooch here. It's we done kiss many times, 4, 5, 6 times, and you know I like to eat. Baby, now that's you too grown for that. Too grown. I want to pump my stomach.
Yeah, you know, you could at least had a pickle or something. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, Pio.
And she gonna sleep in the room with him. Don't forget that, Stacey. She gonna sleep in the room with him too.
Right. All of the innuendo. Like, you as a woman, like, to put me out there like that, like, to really put me as your woman out there like that.
Right.
Like, I would never speak to him again. Never.
I mean, but we've already established that they're both just alike, and they feed off of each other's energy. As much as she may be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that, because she's so down for him and so kind of, you know, has this smoke and mirrors with him. She's gonna, it doesn't, he can do no wrong in her eyes. She's like, red flag here, red flag there, red flag everywhere. But I'm gonna still see what he talking about, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play it out, and we just gonna see. You know, like, I know the red flags are there, but you know, she don't care.
And how do you even get that way without being, you know, in an intimate situation? How do you get that gung ho over somebody? I don't even know if that's even possible. If you can get that gung ho over a person without being physically involved, that's number one. And number two, if you are that way about somebody and not been physically involved, that's a huge red flag on the other side as well.
Well, we talking about a lady who retaliates with nair in the hair. So, I mean, what do we expect from Morgan? I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. You know, Tony and Morgan are a match made in hell. They perfect for each other. So somebody gonna go to jail. It's gonna be some restraining orders and blocked, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff going on. Just give it a little bit of time.
Facts. Yeah. Does anybody have any? Go ahead. Really?
No, I'm just gonna say I agree. I think they enjoy the dysfunction.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm set. And thank you. All right, so I'm just about to put this up here because I can't believe. Oh shoot. I can't believe that it is 164 people watching and only 48 thumbs up. Just for a quick second, if you could take a moment, definitely click that thumbs up if you are enjoying the panel thus far. As in the words of Really Be TV, it is free 99 to click that thumbs up. I so would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shout out to Cute Browning. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you so much. Much love. Thank you. Woo! All right, guys. So, all right. Does anyone have anything else about this eating and turkey and pasta? No. Okay. All right.
Time out. I just want to address something in the chat. Graham, the tickle my pickle was for Brees.
Huh?
No, she's talking about your pickle, your feeding your
Right.
pickle.
Right.
You know what you're talking about, Paul.
But
How you in denial when you literally put a pickle in somebody's mouth?
I mean, yeah, but that was way out of context. It really was. And all they had to do was slow it up and play some little sexy music in there, and you get a different vibe. So there's that.
Okay. All right, guys. Next up, we have the group head outside for some sun in the fun. I mean, fun in the sun. Cynthia sits down with Andre. So it's a whole lot of little conversations. So Cynthia sits down with Andre. Andre says that both Cynthia and Jeffrey are wifey material, but he doesn't know what he is going to do when he keeps getting more and more from Cynthia. He just feels like every time he sits down with Cynthia, it just gets better and better. And because it gets better and better, he's like, what am I going to do at the end? I mean, he only got one episode, so hopefully he definitely figures it out. Mercedes tells Anthony that she is intimidated by him, and she feels that she is a liability in his camp. She admits that she is not ready for what he is wanting and needing. Anthony appreciates her honesty, and I'm just going to say that I do too. I thought that was real big of Mercedes to tell Anthony that, and she, pretty much bowed out gracefully. So shout out to Mercedes for putting it out there. And also too, I think she did it because she like, yeah, I'm gonna choose Mark Anthony, so let me just go ahead and say this, to Anthony. So that's how I feel. I felt like it was just her time. She was like, instead of waiting for him, let me just go ahead and be like XYZ, the things that she said to him. So that's just how I feel. But how do you guys feel about the scene with Andre and Cynthia, about if Cynthia keeps giving me more and more, I don't know what I'm going to do, and about Mercedes pretty much letting Anthony down? But y'all remember later on, Anthony tells Cynthia, yeah, he was like, I had to pretty much let my connections know. I was like, what? But anyway.
Wow.
No. I believe that's true. Right. It is probably came off abstract when he said I had to let my connections know, because they have the tendency to do that. I've seen that production play out where they, make people make statements that don't line up to the actions that happen. So I believe that was actually true. But
Yeah.
in this instance, I mean, I expected everything that happened. So.
Yeah, and this is all the same day, same weekend for them, right?
Yeah.
So in the previous episode, he did let not Mercedes, but he did let Sue Ann know. So I think this is just clearing both of their character arcs for the show and making things a lot more clear for us.
Who let Sue Ann know?
Anthony.
No, Sue Ann let him know. He was grasping for straws. Talking about, is it too late?
I think he was passive. I think he was passively like, like Anthony just strikes me as one of those people where he's like indirectly direct. He's passive with like, like controversial conversations, I guess. Like I felt like he wasn't trying to let her like hurt her feelings. He was just trying to ease on out.
Yeah, I think we were saying that they both knew what it was, and they were just both kind of acting, acting like they're both taking the L, for each other for the sake of the show, and so they can move on, right? So I think we was handing out awards last week for best actor to both of them.
Well, I'm gonna jump in there. I thought Mercedes did a great job in letting Anthony know, like, hey, I'm not ready to be a stepmom right now. That's too big of a responsibility for me. Mark Anthony is over there. We having fun. We taking the pilots, learners test, all that together. Yeah, that was definitely a way to get out from, I guess, the responsibilities, because she doesn't want it. I don't think Mercedes is looking for anything serious at all. And with Andre, I don't know how he really has connection. I haven't seen him really say anything that was of substance. It comes off like all surface. So, and again, like, even when he came back, he didn't pick up that connection that he had with Cynthia. It was like he just came back in the picture. She was there because off of one date, Cynthia said Andre was the one. Then he went out with C19. So yeah, I don't see much here at all. So I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm. Anybody got anything else with Mercedes and Anthony? Because I don't know, it looked like she was just trying to tell him, like, yeah, like, I think we good on it.
Yeah, I think what this was just a mission from producers saying, do you feel him? No. You feel Mark Anthony? Yeah. Finish. All right, clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
For the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tyrone, you have anything?
Oh, sorry.
Nah, I mean, you put all the points out there. It was a mature conversation. Mercedes normally has mature conversations. They're both just clearing the air about what it is. Now they could both move on, and it'll make sense.
Mm-hmm. Stacey B.
Oh, I'm in agreement with PO. And I think that this was like I think like on this episode, production was like, all right, enough of this. We need to see who's with who, and like, let's make it happen, because we only got 2 more episodes to go. Like, gotta go. Get this ball rolling.
Yeah. Really, B?
No, I agree. I think it was an honest conversation. But yeah, I also feel like this was, because remember, Anthony was the only one that was going into this trip with 3 connections. And so I think this was absolutely a way to force Anthony to be like, okay, you need to one side or the other. And I agree. I agree. But I think I like the way it was handled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sharice, do you have anything? Or did you already go? I'm sorry.
I agree with them. Nothing more.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have anything to say about Andre and Cynthia, about how he was like, if Cynthia keeps on, I don't know what I'm gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, for the sake of more drama, they need to give them more airtime together. For real. And don't be jumping in the middle of it. I want to see what happened.
That's the same thing I was thinking about. I'm like, okay, if he's gonna do this, he's actually signing his own death warrant in terms of the show. Because you mess around and not have nobody to end up with. We know that you're gonna be over there with Jeffrey. Stop entertaining this girl.
Yeah.
Right? Stop it.
Yeah. I'm kind of over it too. Like, it's just kind of making me feel like y'all are not being authentic. Like, y'all are trying to draw your storyline out at this point. Like, literally, it's the episode before the last episode. Like, if you still don't know, it's like, oh, now you messing with me. You messing with my emotions and you think I'm stupid. Like, stop. So it's definitely making me feel a type of way.
But I honestly think the story is being told later on in the episode when they're sitting on the couch playing, when they had the little pajama party. Everybody was coupled up. It's clear who's with who. Except for Linden. But remember, boy was asleep in the room, and Linden got a chance to kind of have a moment. But baby, it's not going to happen.
Right, you would think, but Mark Anthony said he's still confused. Jeffrey says she's still confused. Like half the cast still confused.
Jeffrey and Andre are not confused because, like, when I was watching the scene with Cynthia and Andre, I was like, dude, how you gonna sit in her face acting like you like her so much and you still got old girl lipstick on your lips? Like, don't play with us like we're dumb. Don't play with her like she's dumb. That's crazy to me. Y'all are too, like, they're too physically invested in each other at this point. They have put too much out on camera to go in any other direction.
Thanks. And shout out to Robin Mathis for dropping the Pittsburgh line. Love it.
What? Oh, Robin Mathis, Pittsburgh in the house. Shout out to Robin. Hey, Robin. Welcome, Robin. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it is a lot of confused people. I just feel like, too, they just want their, like, it's giving, I want my storyline drawn out, you know, like I want more airtime.
I want the storyline, period.
Yeah, because I'm tired of talking about them. Like, I'm tired of, like, I want to talk about, I'm so glad that Jeffrey and Andre, I wonder if they're going to choose. Like, I want to be talking about that stuff right now. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how the parents think. Like, we over here talking about, is she going to choose Andre or is she going to choose? It looked like she's still kind of like Mark Anthony. Like, why am I still talking about that episode 11?
Right.
Right.
And see, that's one of the things too that messed us, that messes the whole thing up. And I remember being in that house and they were having people have these sort of crazy, or what I thought was crazy conversations. Like even when Tori went to go talk to Sabrina in the house, that was directed for him to do that. I told him don't do it. You know, and they were asking like, well, but funny as hell. But yeah, they were having these conversations or telling people to have these wild conversations. They asked me to have this conversation. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so now we're finding them launching these conversations in season 11, and it's confusing the hell out of us because like you said, like everybody says, we should already be locked and loaded. Like, just give us the damn show already.
Yeah, so now that you said it, what do y'all think would be a reason why they can't publicly commit out loud? I have some reasons why. Since we were talking about investments, the physical investments. Huh?
Wait, I'm sorry. No, okay, you said who can't.
I'm saying at this point, if they're not publicly committing to someone, there's probably a reason why.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Wrong with the box?
That's all I'm saying. Huh?
But they can't just yet.
I mean, technically, they probably all can, but what I'm saying is that they know other people are going to watch this eventually.
Facts.
So people that they may have had investments in earlier, they can't, they can't say it at this point.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, no doubt. No doubt about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just a guess.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that.
Does anyone have anything else with the Mercedes and Anthony? I can't even think. The whole pool scene and Cynthia and Andre talking at the pool. No?
Nope.
All right. So, say it again. Really, B?
I said kissing that. Isn't that when Anthony came out the daggone pool and
he came out the water like
yes, child.
The Little Mermaid,
honey. So Cynthia, Right. They said to each other that they were not going to kiss anyone until they found their person. And Anthony came out the water looking like a mermaid, looking like a model, honey. And he comes up out the water with is glistening all over his body. And he kisses Cynthia. This is their very first kiss. They are now ready to take their relationship to the next level. What you guys think about this connection that has officially been made?
About
like a
damn
choice.
time.
Yeah, it sounds like a choice. They
about damn
made the
time.
choice. No doubt about it.
Agreed.
He's been taking a lot of heat for being passive,
Yeah.
you know, for saying that he ain't been trying with nobody. It's because I feel like he's been focused already. So he really ain't had nothing else to say to nobody else.
No doubt.
It came all performative to me, and that's what I always thought of Anthony, like he's playing a role, and he steps it up like when he needs to. It comes off strategic. Like I said, we can go back to that Sue Ann situation. You know, I know y'all say y'all saw it differently. I just saw it as him trying to grasp at straws, and that kiss. I mean, some people thought it was passionate. I saw him kissing her teeth. And I didn't see it. Like I said, I didn't see anything. I know I saw him kissing her teeth. I mean, she might extend her lip for a second, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like expectations are so low and so underwhelming. People just like go for anything. It's like, oh, I just see the love. They're so connected. They belong together, and they're doing something here. It's just it's disappointing. So I'm gonna let somebody else have it. I'm disappointed.
I mean, she did say he kind of forced it, right? I mean, I don't know what we really expect.
He said, "I'm gonna beat your ass."
Sure did. She sure did. Because I don't think she was expecting it though.
And she didn't want it.
Well,
yeah, I don't think
you
she
know, I feel like if they made that pact, right, and then she participated, because she could have gave him the cheek, like, oh no, hold on, we still out here, like we still undecided, but she fed into it. So she, you know, whether or not she didn't expect it, when they locked lips, she agreed, and ultimately, you know, they've been, you know, they solidified their connection. So I feel like for him, it was do or die, right? Like you in this moment, you have this situation, you know, if you know you're not feeling nobody, Sue Ann is gone, right? And then Mercedes already, you know,
broke up with him.
Right. So what you gonna do? I mean, it's now or never.
Yeah, like at this point, he had no choice.
Right.
He had to lock it in and solidified it. So, yeah, she ain't kiss him; he kiss her.
but she kissed back though, you know. So you know, she agreed.
Well, the way she said, "I'm gonna beat your ass," made me think they probably kissed before, and they agreed not to do it on camera.
On camera, exactly.
And they were just caught up in the moment because it didn't look. It just looked unexpected. Like, now you know what we done said about. I mean, because they're both professional people. She has kids, so I can understand why she wouldn't want to be all on TV kissing people in the mouth. So, I mean, I can understand that.
Will you kiss me right now, here and now? But if it's not a real connection, you better not kiss me.
Right. I mean, she could have hit him with the whopper chopper, you know, did all of this.
Oh,
she didn't do it.
So awkward. I'm telling you, that's a terrible position to be in.
I mean, think about it too. You know, it could have been a moment of awkward silence and they're just looking at each other. And then, you know, maybe she would have sized them up a little bit better. But I think it was a surprise element. And, you know, I think it's muscle memory, you know. Wow. He went after it. They've been doing this probably before this. So it was like muscle memory. And then it was like, oh, shit, you caught me. I got caught, you know.
And one thing about these Miami women, what we're seeing is they will turn down a kiss. Didn't we see it early in the season where it was like, who was it? Linden or someone was like, I mean, I can get you now. And she was like, no.
Yeah,
we,
she
we know
definitely.
like we'll turn a kiss down. So
That's my
all
dude,
kisses
though.
now are welcome. Any lips touching are welcomed.
Right.
Y'all know how I feel about that. I just, I be like monkey
Well,
paw.
I'm gonna say. I mean, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, really be. I'm just acting silly.
No, I'm sorry. So the one thing is, I definitely agree with J Dub, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. I feel like we all said this a couple of weeks ago. Maybe I'm, but I don't think any of us are feeling passion from any of these couples.
Not a one.
No.
Yeah, I don't feel like any of us are feeling like, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, they got it. I don't feel like I just don't feel it with any of these couples. So I mean, was I impressed by the Anthony coming out of the water and kissing Cynthia? I mean, it was cute for what it was, but do I feel like, oh yes, I've been waiting for this all season? Like, no. Like, okay, you kicked her. All right, let's move on. So I'm not feeling any passion from anybody.
Yeah, I don't see the passion, but I will say you have to acknowledge his courage for putting it out there and just going forward, saying, if this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it in this moment. Especially if they were already, if there was some sort of space that they didn't feel comfortable with kissing on camera and all of that, and for him to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this. Let's get it. I acknowledge that.
Y'all, Paul really just sat up here and said, if there's anything I'd like to acknowledge about this brother is his courage.
I mean, some dudes they not going to do that. Some dudes be like, nah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in the dark. But, in the light, nah.
He was performing.
That's what a lot of people have been saying that all of them have been doing.
Well, I've been telling y'all that about Anthony from the beginning. Y'all like, oh, he's wonderful. He's husband material. He's ready for life. He's got it all together. I was like, no, he's acting. He's playing a role.
I still like him. I like Anthony. I just don't think that his forever person is here. But I do like Anthony.
I mean, so I think if I was in the shoes of Anthony, and you have somebody like Cynthia that has it together, right? I would definitely, try to form or shape that into something, because she seems like a pretty, good person. I mean, she's well-rounded. I didn't really see a whole lot of red flags. I mean, other than when she first came in, I couldn't figure that out. But outside of that, I feel like, they got a good shot. I mean, go for it.
I feel like it was probably his first moment of relief, in weeks, of taping and having to date everyone. And now he's got his focus now, and he just went for it. It's hard to show that passion to everybody, I know. Like we expected so much at this point.
Right.
Like these conversations, I mean, what can we say? It's like a ho-hum.
Yeah, too much passion would have got his ass voted off. So he can't win.
But also too, you have to understand what part of the country we in too, right? This is Miami, so dudes in Miami are a little bit more lax in terms of pursuit. Why? Because it's there's women, there's a gang of women out there. So why do I really have to pursue you? I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? This is most of the men there is probably like, yo, this is where it's at. And if you don't like that, I know her, and then a couple, chicks down there, they with it. So what am I put all this into you for?
So real quick, D Brown wants to know, J Dub, what makes you think that Anthony is acting? Just curious.
Okay, well, she asked, And my motto is say what you say, but I'm gonna read my comment and I'm gonna take it further. As I put in my comment, I said Morgan, Marcia, Sue Ann have all addressed Anthony on being inconsistent. So to me, again, it's just like he turns it on when he needs to. It doesn't come like off. It doesn't come off authentic. And I'm gonna say something normally people wouldn't say. Like from what I pick up is like from when Anthony brought Sue Ann to the house and he had that mat on and how he kind of switches on. Like even let's go with something very recent. He they talked about making the candles, and then I'm gonna do an Anthony impression. He said, "Well, I have a lot of candles in my house, and I just love. I'm just a little bit more into it than others, you know." To me, he switches on and off, and I see it. I've seen it often, and I gotta say something about it. It just looked like he's playing a role.
I
But
mean,
J
he's
Dub,
got to go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I just had a quick follow up. So do you not think though that this is a result and of his environment? Like because that has to count for something. Like if women are laying down and just falling on the ground saying "take me, please," right? Why are you going to sit up there and do the most for one?
Well, PO, that actually that doesn't really have anything to do with Miami. For most regions, the women outnumber men, and a lot of men who are in the field have choices, and they choose to how they want to maneuver in it at all. But I'm just saying, like I said, Anthony seems to turn his masculinity on and off. Women have to bring directly to him, "Hey, you need to step up. Hey, you're just you. We had a wonderful conversation, but I heard nothing else." You actually, this is different from being in just the regular dating world. He signed up for this, so he's ready to love. So he needs to come forward. This is a participation thing. It's different when you just in the street, but that's not nothing new. A man in any city, in Pittsburgh, in LA, in Atlanta, wherever, they got choices. In DC, you got choices.
Right.
So it depends how you want to govern your dating life. So that's nothing new.
Well, let me just tell you and everybody out there a secret. I'm sorry, Ty, and then I'm done with it. I'll tell all of y'all a little secret. There is no man that's signing up for this show that is of good character or anything of that nature that's saying I'm looking for love. They're like, I'm coming here and I'm open to it, but if it don't happen, I'm out. I'm good. They're not coming there looking for their wife. Tyrone.
You're right. I got a little sidetrack with your comment. Oh man, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was gonna go talk about Anthony and his level of focus. I think if we were watching the little things, he did show the focus and the passion for the woman that he wanted, right? Because if you remember at the table with Cynthia's ex, he was saying, "I ain't going anywhere." You know what I mean? But he has to play a little bit, coy so he could still get the votes to stay on. So it's almost like he's doing just enough. And for us, it comes off as passive. But as you can see, the way things were going, the way the votes were going, anyone could have gotten voted off simply because of maybe showing too much passion or showing that, they don't like a certain person, then they ain't going to get the vote to stay on. And it just happens to be, a product of the show. You got to fake it just enough to make it this far. And that, to me, that's what he's been doing. But I feel like he's had this connection in the background. I saw that it was stronger than what we may be seeing right now. But I feel like we just want so much from these people and from the show that when they don't give us what we want, our only response is to be pessimistic about them. When I don't think we have to be.
Well, let me jump on that one. I don't think everyone has to be so optimistic and everybody gets a a first place prize about everything they do and say. It's like, well, he tried. He kissed her teeth. He gave her a rose. It's like we're just giving everybody credit. Everybody's a winner. Everybody's doing the right thing. At least they tried. We're going to give them the Courage Award, the Most Likely Improve Award. I mean, eh, can we just call a thing a thing? Can we, please? And, I don't understand. Are we missing something? And I mean, I'm just gonna go on a rant now. I like what Really B said, and when she was speaking of her view as a viewer. Like, granted, y'all have specialized experience on being on the show, but in real life, we're all viewers, unless you have the production credits and papers in your hand right now. We're all viewers, and we should be going on what we see, not all this. Maybe production did this, and maybe they said this, and how Eddie in the back with the boom camera cuts in. No, let's talk about what we talking about, what we see. We could go on theories all night long.
And I understand that, J-Dub, but also you have a qualified panel here so that we can break down these moments of inconsistency as well, right? So and so that's why the duality is great, having you here from the outside, but knowing how it goes from the inside, we can at least help the folks that are viewing this panel make sense, because otherwise you would think that everybody is just who they are, and it just it looks like a nightmare, to be honest. Like, if I was sitting in your shoes and I looked at Blake, I would be just as confused as you. Actually, me and you would be on the same team, calling him out and going in on him. But being as though I know how that can be, like, it's just realistically, the person has nothing to do with it per se. It's all about the writers and the producers that select the character that they want to cast for that particular storyline, and then they feed that by way of confessional, and then they actually steer you by the types of questions that they ask so that you fall into that slot. So I get it, though, from your perspective. Absolutely. You want to call it television is television. I call it tell-lie vision, telling lies to your vision.
But
so there's that.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that.
Well, I just want y'all to know Paul is coming from a bitter place. He doesn't speak for all of us.
I am not bitter at all.
I agree with you, J-Dot. I mean, listen. I do want people to understand that reality TV is not rehearsed. They don't give you lines. It is what you say. It's what they choose to do with what you say.
That is not true. I can tell you for sure.
But if they do give you lines, for sure you don't have to say it. If they
you don't have to. But if somebody else says that
if you're
line,
a real actress, if you're doing a movie or a sitcom or something, you're getting lines, you're reading your lines, you're rehearsing. Reality TV is we're filming what's really going down.
Okay.
And if they do give you those people that they do have to give you a line, is to provoke energy, is to be provocative, is so we're not just staring at a screen of people breathing. It's to wake everybody up.
Okay.
So okay. For the record, I for one have never read a line. So I'm not sure. Was that your experience, Pio? You were reading over there?
Hold on.
But Pio, you do notice that they ever do tell you to say something, you don't have to say it, because you've said that before. You said that.
Okay, I just want to ask everybody on this call: have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen that happen?
Listen, I'm under contract. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Okay, exactly. So you can't tell me that you didn't see no line, because I've seen them all day, every day. And then when you don't do this, then they looking at you and they like, hold on, time out. And then you have a little quarterback huddle. And then they say,
there's nothing wrong with that, because
that's a line though. That's not
necessarily a line. Like, if you need to rap, if
That's
It is-
called production, producing a show.
But hold on. So you
gotta
just
wrap
said
up.
though that they're not
Somebody
doing
tell
that.
that, Sabrina,
I'm
do what you want and take time to move on.
Time to go.
Like, I know that they give us because what happens is because I actually asked them one time. I was like, why do y'all do that? They're like, because I would look and I would be like, because I never needed it. Like, I just never needed it. And then I asked them one time, I was like, why do y'all do that? They're like, because honestly, sometimes people don't know what to say. So what they said is we at least give them topics to discuss with the person that they're on the date with or whatever scenario is going on, because you're not just sitting there. So it's kind of like, ask him about his kids, ask him about his ex-wife, ask him about, like
And
his
that helps.
childhood.
And that helps steer the conversation so
Right.
that you fall into that slot
Exactly.
of that character
So
that they
what do
want
you
you
think
to
of
play.
but how do you think that a show gets produced and makes what do you think is what makes it interesting? You think people have the ability to just sit there? People are not even that interesting.
Okay. I'm gonna say
need to move the hell on. I know because I used to when I was working in the film reality shows and they'd be sitting there, they would tell those girls, come on, we don't want to hear about all this shit, the coffee and the tea. Get into the real tea. That's just
right.
the way television
So
goes.
I'm gonna say one thing.
I like it when you guys talk about what the people actually did. Me
Right.
personally, I don't like to talk about production because I just feel like it would be like somebody coming to my business and then giving away my ingredients or giving away my, what I have entrusted them with, So I just don't like to get into that. Me personally.
Okay. So I'll say this.
I always have felt like Pete, you got to look at what the people are doing. Even everything that I did not like the way some of it came out, but guess what? That's the way it was produced. It's nothing. I got to own it. Like,
I'll say one thing.
Reality
I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing, and then we're done with this. Reality television does not have any space for a writer. Once you introduce a writer, it is no longer reality television. The end.
Well, if you don't write a show, how are you going to produce it? You got to do steps to getting things done. So if you don't write it, what you going to just, come on, y'all, just do this, do that. It's got to be like, what do you mean?
It's no longer reality, it's scripted.
It's not scripted unless there's a script in front of you where
don't
you're reading lines like in a movie.
Right. Like if that's a real script, that is the production. That is a cue. That is.
Yeah.
A script and cliff notes are kind of like two different things though. Because that's like a cliff note to me.
So, can I say
okay?
We don't want to hear about production. They want to hear about what we think about these characters on this show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I jump in? I agree with Sharice and with J-Dub. I know that, because again, I always feel like I'm the minority, because I'm, when J-Dub wasn't here, I was the only one that had never been on the show. And so I'm only looking at the show. I'm looking at what they show us. I understand that. I mean, I review reality shows all on my channel. I know that production happens. I know it's not quote unquote reality, but when people are constantly wanting, and I mean, like it happens on my channel, people say, "Oh, well, did you see this on the blogs? Well, did you so and so said that? They did an interview." Like, I don't want to keep getting the outside noise because it takes away from what I'm supposed to be talking about. And so, like, I get it that there's a perspective we don't have. But everything can't always be what production did. Well, production. I can only go by what I'm seeing.
Let's get into the show.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. What I was simply saying, and it's morphed into a missile, is that, we are here to provide different type of context to what you folks are seeing. When I'm not telling you scene by scene by scene, this was produced, that was produced, this happened, that happened. But I can tell you based off of my experiences that at particular certain parts of the show is where they're wanting to close stuff out. And so people, it doesn't make sense. Ultimately, you know, folks want some clarity behind it. So there you go.
But you can't give clarity
Go ahead.
because you wasn't really on. It could have been different producers. I don't know. I'm done. You're right. Let's move on.
Yeah,
No,
we're gonna move
no,
on.
no, Sharice, you are right, and it has to be said. It's time for PO to have a intervention, especially when he's talking about he's a certified ready to love specialist and all of that.
Oh, you're a production critic.
Yeah, specialist. No, you
No,
do that, PO. You do every time you bring in the devil's advocate production spiel on every scene. No, that's probably not what you saw. You know, when they bring the glass of water in here, and normally what they do here. No, let's go by what they said. We could talk
Okay.
for
Okay.
24 hours straight. We could talk
Okay.
for
they
24
got new writers and
hours
So this-
straight
here-
about
so here's-
sir,
here's
PO.
my
And then
point.
it's an intervention. Can you stop interrupting me, sir? Respectfully.
Yes, sir.
Everybody. Let me finish.
Let me get my
Let
time.
me finish my thought, please. Please, sir.
Go for it. Go
Please.
for it.
No, I'm finished. I'm with Sharice. My hands up. You got it, PO. You are the specialist.
No,
You
I'm
got it. The
telling-
floor is yours. And like you said, and like you told us, well, I'm gonna say this one thing and it's over. You know, we're gonna keep it like that. I should have left it at that. It's over. Sharice, it's over. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Sugar. Yes, we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward. And
Thank you.
FYI, I just want to let everybody know I am going to put this out there because it is on the screen and a lot of people have been wondering. Valencia says that she was not expecting Blake to do any interviews at all. He actually just did one. And just to let everybody know, I already let my soulmates know in the community chat. And since I've already let them know, I'm going to let you guys know I will be interviewing Blake next week on the missing link. So stay tuned. Moving forward, speaking of Blake, oh goodness, Blake sits down with the other men and tells them with Sue Ann being gone, it makes things interesting with him, pretty much there with no connection. And everyone else is pretty much trying to find their connections, and he doesn't want to distract them from what they have going on. So Blake pretty much makes an executive decision and says that he is going to leave the retreat, and then he's probably thinking about and going to meet with Tommy to speak with him about his situation. How do you guys feel about what Blake said and what he did?
It was production. No, I'm kidding.
I can't. Let me put my.
No, this time PO is right. It was production. They had this, hey, I want you to sit down with the guys and let them know that your connection's not here and you don't want to get in their way and all of that. So yeah, they set it up.
Everybody knew that.
It was
So, I mean, at that point,
let's figure out how we're gonna get you up out of here. Clearly no one else wanted him. So it was definitely time.
No, excuse me, Sharice. PO said Blake had multiple connections. You could tell the way the lady spoke or lack thereof speaking on him. Clearly, he had multiple connections. This is PO talking.
yeah, and I stand by that. I stand by that 100% because ultimately, folks that you don't have, I mean, think about it. If we went back to, I want to say it was a date with either, was it him and Mercedes or him and Cynthia? One of the two.
The
But
elimination
there was
date
like,
with him and Cynthia.
yeah, there was something that was said there that, and I don't know what it is off top.
She
that was
said,
a
"I
while
wore
ago.
this dress for you."
Yeah, that type of stuff. Yeah. So when they say those types of things, you know that there was something going on. Like, I don't think that he was just sitting there like a lone wolf in the corner by himself prowling on Sue Ann. I mean, you can't last on the show that long. You can't make it to episode 11 by just having one person there. It's just not possible. Look at DeMario and all the other people. Blue.
PO production only saying you can't last to the 8th episode.
No.
With no merit?
Wait, say that again?
You can.
What?
people have done it. If you just lay in the
I'm,
background,
I'm saying
you
he kind of
can.
No,
himself.
no, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about like you can't be on make it to episode 11. Just think about all of the guys that went before him, right? That had connections that we saw, and they left before him. Why is that?
I think they were
Because
just slightly worse. We said it before, right? They were just slightly worse than Blake.
and
That's
and
all.
and we know if someone is if for the most part, if you and someone else are each other's number one, y'all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got to be real. He on the bottom every week for a reason. You know, it's just somebody slightly
Nobody's
worse.
feeling him.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else was Blake? No one.
Well, from what we saw, yes, it was no one. But, you know, it didn't make sense for him to still be there after she got eliminated, in my opinion.
And he was at the bottom, what, like, let's say
Left.
7 out of 8 times? But okay.
No, I think it was 9 times.
Right.
Okay. A world record.
In real life. In Ready to Love history, it was the most times ever on the bottom.
How many
Yeah.
times?
I'm sorry, that was wow.
9 times.
Oh yeah, that was more than me. I was there like 4, 3.
When I made it to
Yeah.
the end, when in Rome, when I made it to the end, I never dragged anybody. Everybody was free to go. Actually, I wanted to leave. And so, I didn't
Production.
drag anybody. What's that?
Production made you stay.
Pretty much. I mean, I self-eliminated in the middle of a date with the Kia. Got up, took the mic off, got in my car, and I got a call from the showrunner. And it was like, nah, we can't do it like this.
Yeah. In Paul's defense, half the cast would have almost been gone because I know a lot of your folks wanted to self-eliminate, and then they wouldn't have had a show if everybody was gone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was never on the
yeah, it was a
bottom.
season.
I was just eliminated via coup.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Blake did the right thing.
Yeah,
A lot of people's getting on him, for the way he went out. I don't see any other way to go out. You know what I mean? They didn't really have to have that date with him and Tommy and have it be like a full scene and everything. He could have just said the same thing that it did for Andre, basically saying Blake took himself out of the process. I don't think anybody would have said a word about it, but there's literally nothing else for him to do at that point,
Well, per other people, though, they would have rather have saw him on the elimination block and get his head chopped off, basically.
But I'd be like, why waste people's time? Why waste their
Yeah, exactly.
time? Why waste a spot,
You know what I will say about Blake, because I had the privilege of meeting him recently, and I probably rubbed him wrong, but I'll tell you, I didn't realize he was from New York or something. So I think, how like early on people was like, the Tony's vibe rubs them wrong, like it's a New York guy, like how they carry themselves or how they speak. I think that Blake's accent probably isn't as heavy as Tony's. So I think that's a lot of like the inaccurate, like bad guy perception of him. I thought he was a gentleman and he was really nice and intelligent when I met him. He was handsome and everything. So I can understand why. Like people may have been interested in him. We might not have seen those connections, but I can see where he smelled like $1 million, honey. Blake had it all together. He was a gentleman. He was very courteous, So I'll tell y'all that I think that all of the soulmates should tune in to your interview with him, and I'm sure they will get a different perception of him. I think you'll be able to deliver that, Sabrina, because like once you can actually talk with him and stuff, you can understand, like where the miscommunication is. Like I said, I think I didn't realize, like it all made sense when I realized he's from New York. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, well I was misreading you then.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I can honestly say that at this point, I think that we can all say that I'm a great judge of character. Okay. We're just going to put it out there. Just go ahead and give me my props. I'll wait. Okay, never mind. We have 232 people.
You're right.
Huh?
You got it. You're right, girl. You are a great judge of character.
I was getting ready to say because people wasn't feeling Blake in the beginning, and I was like, y'all, I don't know. I was like, because there's something about him, and I didn't even mean it. I wasn't saying it in a bad way. I was like, I like him. I just feel like he's just misunderstood. Why? Ain't nobody like Blake in the beginning. Everybody was talking crap about Blake. Now everybody want to jump on the Blake boat. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is what it is. I'm glad that everybody's able to see, exactly who he is. I'm not saying he's perfect because no one's perfect. You know what I mean?
And for the record, I liked P.O. from the beginning as well.
Oh, that's what's up. Appreciate that. Hold on. Hold up. Because you can't. You just can't make. Yeah, you can't make statements. Exactly. You can't make statements like that. I gotta give it to you. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I said it. I didn't start feeling Blake until the boat scene with Jeffrey. I think that's when I started turning the corner on him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So shout out to Blake. I'm really glad that he made the decision to leave. I was really shocked that he left the retreat. Like it didn't even dawn on me like, hey, he might leave the retreat. He should leave the retreat. And the fact that he did it, like kudos to him for making that decision. Cause he like, I ain't trying to stay. Ain't no need for me to even just stay here. Because I would have been like, I'm gonna stay for the food and the drinks. They're gonna have to tell me for real I got to go because I ain't going. I'm gonna finish eating and I'm gonna finish drinking. Y'all don't gotta film me. Like, anyway. So, but anyway, does anyone have anything else to say about Blake and him dismissing himself from the house and saying that he is going to, or he would like to talk to Tommy?
Yeah.
I was happy. I'm sorry. I was just happy he went out gracefully and, understood the assignment. And at that point, it was over. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when in Rome beat me to it. I was like, Blake was being so passive. He only got to pick the bunk bed, so why would he stay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, facts. All right, guys. So next up, we have Andre. They get a telegram at the door, and Andre reads from Tommy that they will be making handcrafted scented candles for their connections, and they're going to give the candles to their connections at the end of the day. They are split into groups, and the very first group is Tony, Jeffrey, and Anthony with making the candles. Morgan joins Linden in the pool table area. Morgan states that the conflicts between Linden are his age and his lifestyle. Linden also wants to let Morgan know that she is hurting him. He says that he is not a child and he is not there to fight. And he didn't like how Morgan treated him the day before. Morgan starts to cry and she gets the most emotional and says that she can't put energy into two people at the same time. So Linden does tell Morgan that Tony is bad for her. Morgan says that there are so many red flags, but she still sees potential and she still wants to give Tony a chance to fix the mess that he has made. She also tells Linden that she is ready to make a decision, or she tells Linden that she is not ready to make a decision yet, and he tells her to take her time. So,
Okay. So we're going based off of what we see now, right? I'm just going to stick to that
Absolutely.
format. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for queuing that up. This is the first time where, well, not the first time. This is actually the first time where we all got a chance to see Linden's passion, and we got to see a good brother there. Like, I know I've in the past said that Linden was, just trying to figure it out and, see what's good. But at the same time, when a man comes to a person, and us men, we're not really known to be emotional up front. So when we open up and say, hey, you're hurting, right? It takes a lot for a man to say that to a woman. And so when he had the emotional awareness to go there, you got to see, the good part in him, the person that was very open, not closed off. You know what I mean? He put himself out there, and he told her exactly, what it was that, he was trying to do, pretty much. And then for the man to say, look, I don't want to fight. Like, I just want you to see me for who I am. Like, I don't want to do the tough guy thing or whatever. I don't want to do this masculine energy with another man. I just want to get to know you. I thought that was a good moment for him. Unfortunately, that red flag got wrapped all around Linden, and, she was blind to see who he was because she was worried about the red flags coming from Tony. And I mean, I don't know. I feel it was really for me, it was a garbage moment in terms of, the way that she treated the guy. Like, not hearing him out saying, yeah, I know what you're a good dude, you know what I mean? But F all that, trying to deal with this red flag over here. This is a garbage moment. That's all I get.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Well, I'm triggered by PO's passive aggressiveness. So I guess we'll take it from the production standpoint. So in this moment, the candle, it wasn't something that they really wanted to do. Production makes you or suggest things sometimes that you think you don't want to do. And really the connections were already set up and that was understood with everyone. It was just a scripted scene because this is a scripted show. That's all I gotta say.
OMG. Tyrone, I would love, because you over there giggling. We would love to hear from you, Tyrone. And then
Oh man, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. 90% of Linden's scenes is him talking about Tony, right? When he's got plenty of opportunity to talk about himself and what he likes about Morgan, but he don't really have nothing to say except everything and you're making me feel bad. Especially considering what he already knows and feels about Morgan, I think it's highly manipulative. I think he pretty much started it all, the whole competition thing. He even admitted it was a competition. He even went through with the competition. And then in the end to finally say it was about Morgan's feelings when, it didn't seem like he was trying to protect Morgan's feelings. It only seemed like he was trying to win. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it.
I gotta agree with Ty on this for real. Because even I know I missed last week. To me, this is my opinion. Linden lit that fire at that table. He didn't have to do that. He was being extra petty and trying to act all innocent and say, well, what do you think about it? When he actually has information that he could bring out at any time that would flip the whole table over. But yeah, Linden's playing that innocent thing. And if he was really trying to win Morgan's heart and be ready to love, every conversation wouldn't be about her two flames. That's what he made a candle about, or talking about Tony. So much so, Morgan has to tell him, "Look, I'm talking about you and me." You know, he's not ready. He doesn't want to take those steps. He doesn't want to wife her, please. He's not ready for any of that. Linden works part-time, so he's not ready for a wife. So let's keep going.
I don't know. I think Linden. Well, okay. Let me, because I missed one of my thoughts. So it was funny when I heard Morgan say she can't entertain or be with two guys, but this is a process of 10 people, right? That you have to get to know. So is it the fact that, well, me and Tony already been there. We already did everything we need to do. Now I just need to, give him a chance because, you gotta think, whenever a woman is intimate with a man more than once, or I'm sorry, at least 3 times, 3 times is like difficult to pry themselves off of the guy and get out of that, especially if the guy's, sending them false pleasantries. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, based off of her actions and the way that she's acting, it seems like her actions is coming from a woman who has been intimate with that particular partner, right? Otherwise, there would be no stake in the game. Why would you be giving somebody with red flags, the size of Earth, a chance? If he wasn't there, and you got him talking about how he likes to eat, and these innuendos. We know what it is, and that's the reason why Linden is disadvantaged. Is not that it's lack thereof trying to connect or putting Tony out there or whatever. I think that Tony closed the deal before Linden, and Linden, it was just a part of the show's attrition. So there's that.
I don't understand what Paul's saying right now. Like,
what
really,
do you
like,
mean?
Once Linden broke code, all the rules just kind of went out the window.
Yeah, he broke. Listen,
You know what I mean?
I beat him up for that. Like, Linden, you can't break code. I get that, but it doesn't. Him breaking a code, is no woman is supposed to recognize that. That's recognized by the fellas, not by women.
Right, but it was the reasoning behind it all. That's how you knew it was all personal. With Tony, it had nothing
no
to do
doubt,
with Morgan.
no doubt.
So for him to start coming with the emotions, talking about he's hurt and everything, I think that's just really manipulative when he knew that he wasn't the guy for her weeks ago, So, it's because Tony said he was going to lose and he couldn't handle it.
No, my thing is this here. How would he know that he's not the guy for her when she's still entertaining him? See, that's the thing. You have to tell this man and be straight with him. Yo, my guy, you good, but I ain't feeling you, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's not here. Like Mercedes did.
I think he knew at the Friends date because he knew her plan. He knew the wife me plan. I think he been knew. I think even the nair was probably a red flag between him and his friends, something that, he couldn't overlook. He said it was the size of, his friend said it was the size of a football field. So,
well, we'll break this down when we talk about the elimination. We'll break that down a little bit more, and I think I can make a bit more sense of that.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Sharice, you got nothing?
We're talking about which scene again?
We're talking about Morgan at the pool table with Linden. She gets emotional. Hold on, I'm about to show you. It's this here. Hold on 1 second. She joins him in the pool table. The conflictions between Linden are his age and his lifestyle. Linden says, lets Morgan know, like, you've been hurting me, and like I'm not a child. He ain't come there to fight. And she starts crying, she gets emotional, and she's like, I can't put my energy into two people, like it's too much for me. Linden tells Morgan that Tony is bad for her, and she's like, you know, I see the red flags, but I still see potential and I still want to give him a chance. Linden's like, yeah, you pretty much need to let me know like what you're gonna do. She says, well, I'm not ready to make that decision yet, and he tells her to take her time. That's where we at. Just to refresh everyone too.
Well, I mean, I think the cards are just unfolding. Everybody's playing their card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ain't that something similar to what Tony was saying?
People.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I thought we had a line of communication going, but you're not choosing because you're afraid to hurt this person's feelings.
Mm.
Tony literally said the exact same thing.
Yeah. Stacy, what you got?
Well, I think this was just a battle of the biggest D played out for us. You know, I agree that Linden was done, like he was off the relationship, like the potential of it, like actively out of it since the friends date. What struck me is that, like, you know, he's not an ignorant man, and I don't know which one it was, if it was Super Saver or a slanging contest, but I felt like he just was there, like he knew it wasn't going to be a connection. He just wanted his opportunity to tell her, let me show you, this guy is dogging me every chance he gets. I'm waiting I'm gonna stick around for the right opportunity so I can let him tell on himself. And that's exactly what Linden did. He waited into the opportune time to allow Tony to show his cards.
Really, B?
So I think I probably have an unpopular opinion about the situation. I think Linden has moved forward as a romantic connection, but I think that Linden is genuinely concerned for her as it relates to Tony. I do think that it's a big D contest. I agree. But I also think that because I feel like everybody is starting to see the red flags, and she even admits that they're there. She's just okay with them and wants to continue. She sees more good than bad. And so at this point, I think he's kind of switched roles from potential to protector. And I think he's serious when he says, look, I'm worried. Like, he's not good for you. Like, yeah, you hurt my feelings. I don't like the way you're handling the situation. But bigger than that, I think you need to pay attention to what's going on. But that might be an unpopular opinion, but that's kind of how
That's very popular. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
To support what you said, remember Cynthia was even in the lounge and was like, hey, everyone was like, hey, like Morgan spent the majority of her time here on the retreat crying. He humiliated her about kissing. She expressed how upset she was about that, and then the next chance he got, he talked about munching. It was just, what else can you do? And then she said it multiple times. He said that they had an open line of communication. What he meant was she never voiced the things that she didn't like about him to him. Now she's in a place where it's obvious, and she has to, because you're in front of people, you have to defend yourself and say, I don't like that you're saying that. I don't like how you're talking to me right now. Like, it's different when you do have an audience and you're feeling like a little more buck, and you're like, no, I don't like how you're talking to me. I don't like that you said that. This is team too much toxicity for me, though. But again, that's why, when you are open, when you're truly open to the process, and you're open, y'all know one of the major things we got from this process, through the process, was criticism, right? One thing that we learned is how to do things differently. And it just like, when you lead with sexuality, you get a different result as when you lead with the other tools you may have.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why a lot of ladies be like, oh, team no go on the first night, because what we're seeing is like Morgan at this point, what we're seeing Morgan say is that, well, it's her heart. My heart is, no, it's your cuckoo is torn. Like you want, like you feeling the butterflies and this sensation, and you can't see, you know, the flag.
Yeah, see, she fed Tony the naps, and now she all effed up based off of, you know, how he likes to eat and all. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything with the pool table and Linden and Morgan? All right. So let's move forward. All right. Still kind of the same scene, but moving forward because Morgan does exit the room. Morgan joins her group with Mark Anthony and Cynthia outside to make their candles. Morgan is still emotional, even more so now while making the candle for Tony. Morgan goes inside to clean her face up. Cynthia follows her to console her. Cynthia tells her that she needs to trust her decision. Tony enters the room and asks Morgan, "You all right?" She tells him she just went through something hard. Morgan says to Tony, "Do you want to come in and talk about it, or would you just gonna stand there and be like, really, really?" He says, "Dad, I'm just asking you, like, what's going on?" She says that I'm okay. I'm okay. Morgan says that in the confessional that Tony is upset because she is crying over Linden. Tony obviously didn't know, because then he goes and asks Andre, "How long she been in the room, man? Like, what's she crying about?" Andre tells him he thinks about Linden, and Tony says, "Oh yeah, I ain't going for that. We don't go for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, well, I ain't down with that, man. You know what I'm saying, bro?" Tony says that it's something wrong with that picture, and he just ain't feeling it. Yes.
So I think in this moment, first off, Tony just wants to win, right? Tony has the energy of, I got my eye on Marcia anyway, so, and I already had what I needed to have with you. I got you on lock. So you deal with yourself, pull yourself together, and then when you get it right, holler at me. I'll be over here with the fellas or doing my thing. Whereas, you know, Cynthia comes through as a very in touch person with the reality of what she's seeing from the outside. And she came in offering very, very sound advice. Um, you know, when a woman checks you and stops you and says, "Yo, this is, you know, this is what it is," you know, and lays it out like that, you have to consider what the hell's happening. And like I said, Morgan is tunnel vision. It's like, it doesn't matter what you say or whatever, she's going after him. So there you have it.
Anybody? All right. Well, I'll put my take on it. I just have to really speak on that situation the way like Tony handles Morgan, and she verbalizes that she can see the flags, but she's still drawn to him. So at this point, you gotta let her have at it. And yeah, I don't know what is too much more to say. Like I said, no matter what she sees, no matter what anybody tells her, she gravitates towards Tony because they've been together. They've made that true connection. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
I've been
Tyrone.
trying. I've been trying to give this some thought, and you know, I honestly think that the crying had to have been for something else. You know, so if you're in there crying for 2 hours for someone who she even said has not expressed how he feels about her, a lot of that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like her and Tony have always had this relationship that's just kind of unique to them, right? Um, from the outside looking in, it looks toxic. It looks like um, it's not going to work. It even looks like it's going to be violent, how we said earlier. But I feel like, they've always had like this weird understanding. And there's dates where she says, get it together. There's dates where he says, get it together. And I can understand why Tony would feel like they do have this understanding, but to see this emotion coming from her for someone else, I could see how that would throw me off too. But it also feels like Tony's just at a point to where he just can't, he can't win. No matter what he does, he's gonna say something wrong because that's just the way they seem to talk to each other. So from us, we're gonna always say that he could have handled it better when that's probably how they handle things or have been handling things this whole time. Um, for her saying that she only got the capacity for two people, um, I get it, I understand it. It's just all of it just seems kind of off. And we did talk about the inability to commit publicly. I don't like to go where Paul be going about them smashing, but there's definitely something extra there for all the tears. And I don't think it's just Linden, you know. So this whole scene just kind of threw me off. And for Tony to just go sleep it off, I mean, at that point, I feel like that was probably the thing to do for him. Just let her figure it out. The same thing Linden said, I'll be patient. And that's I guess Tony's way of being patient, because he's in the same room with Linden. Linden's just going to try him again and call him out again. And then he's going to have to respond. So it's just, I don't know.
It sounds like we turning Tony into the victim.
Tony is definitely not the victim here. I'm not doing that. No. I think that, come on, man. If you care about somebody, or you want to show your presence or love or something, you don't leave a woman, leave her to her feelings and be like, well, you know what? I was here. I asked you and you didn't tell me. Like, you still have to go over there and talk to this lady and kind of get to the bottom and see what it is that is bothering her. Like, you don't just leave. You shouldn't just leave her there to dry. So, as a man, if if I was married or I had my wife or something like that, I would never see my wife crying and being upset and like, oh, you still on that crying shit? All right, I'll be upstairs. Let me know when you're done. Like, who does that? It's just crazy.
Insane.
Stacy.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to highlight something that Ty kind of spoke on. He said Morgan was in the room crying for 2 hours. Let's talk about that. If you ever in the room crying for 2 hours and ain't nobody died, you're crying for attention. She was in the room and she waited 2 hours before that man came to that door. That is the problem. What the problem was this weekend is that Morgan saw firsthand they're in one place. She's seeing how the other men are being attentive, they're being caring, they're being soft, they're queening the other ladies. And what he's doing, girl, you in here crying, girl, what you crying for? You know what I'm saying? he busted in a room where she and her homegirl were talking. She was upset. First of all, how many men you know bust in a room like that when you in the middle of girl talk? So let's talk about how rude that was. Secondly, he is embarrassing her yet again because he's like, I'll stop that mess. I'll stop that. I like all she wanted was a little attention and to be pacified. He was like anti it. Like he was just rebelling the entire time. He was incapable. And then when they were on the sofa having an intimate moment, he in the room sleep. Not only was he in the room sleep, but he had, hold on, P.O., here we go to production. He was knocked out so cold. They came here, turned on the lights, filmed him snoring, and left without him waking up. Come on now.
Can we pause? I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, can we pause on that picture for a second? Because no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just finish your thought, and then I'll run through the picture situation.
See, I think Morgan could deal with the toxicity, like their toxic relationship. You can deal with it normally, but you know how it's like. You can do one thing behind closed doors, but now we're up in front of people and you're embarrassing me. You done embarrassed me, made me put me out there. You done embarrassed me in all these ways. And now you're not being affectionate. You're not even dating me. It's just like you're owning me like I'm some piece of property. Oh, you staying in a room with me. She's sleeping in my bed. Oh, this what we did. This how many times I kissed her. This was like, it was team too much. Team too much. She was crying because she was embarrassed. It wasn't over Linden because she and Linden seems to be they're cool. Like Linden was looking out for her. Clearly, he stayed for the abuse so he can try to tell her something. This was just like hard to watch. It was hard to watch because I would hope as a human being that Tony isn't like that in real life.
So this right here, this picture says to me, I'm unbothered. F them candles that y'all made. I don't care. And I'm sleeping after a hard day of toxicity. This really wore me out, right? I mean, it says so much like, let me rest. She ain't going nowhere. Like, she good. I'll show up. Or, pretty much I just really don't give a F. At the end of the day. And, I'm running this relationship. Like it says all of that in that picture. I mean, yeah.
And the way he was sleeping
either it's that or he can't handle his liquor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right. And the way he was sleeping across the bed was like the languages, the body language that I would take from somebody doing that is like, you can come in here tonight or if you're not, but I know I'm going to see you tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
Embarrassing.
Really, B?
I'm triggered. I need to go take a shower.
Really?
Really, B, you there? All right. Sharice, you there? All right. So
yes, it was kind of hard to see him. Like, when you cry, you really need attention. I agree with Stacy. It was kind of like, wow. But I don't know, maybe the drinks and could have been overwhelming. Who knows? But it was hard to see that.
I thought, I don't know. I'm not going to say that Tony is the victim, but when she was in the room crying, when he first entered into the room and was like, you all right? Like, even though he was, or she was in there with her girlfriend and she was trying to console her, at the end of the day, she, or he was concerned because at this point, he had no idea what she was crying about. He just knew she was crying because he hadn't talked to Andre yet. So for real, if I'm in the room crying and my man out here and he don't see me, And he like, dang, she in there crying? Because Mark Anthony was like, she in the room crying. She talking to Cynthia. I would want my man to be like, you all right, babe? Like, what's going on? Because he don't know what's going on. So I thought that was really nice of him that he checked on her. What kind of threw me a little bit was how she responded to him. Because I was like, wait a minute. Is Morgan the toxic one the whole time? And Tony is just playing off of her toxicity. And honestly, Tony is actually probably really nice, but he became toxic on the show because he was dealing with Morgan. I mean, at this point, I don't know. Because I feel like when he entered into the room, she was like what? Like, that's the kind of attitude she had. And he like, dang, like, I'm just trying to check on you. I'm just trying to see if you're okay. And she's like, like, I'm okay, And she was like, but what you gonna do? You just gonna stand there at the door? And then when he leaves out, so of course, to be honest with you, if I come to the door and do that, and my man or the person I'm dating or whatever kind of approaches me like that with that kind of energy, it's gonna make me feel a type of way like, yo, like, why are you bucking at me? I'm just here checking to see if you're okay. So for him to respond like that, I see why he responded like that. And it was crazy because after he left, she looked at Cynthia talking about, you see, like, that's what I got to deal with. I'm thinking to myself, he ain't even do nothing. So it wasn't until after Tony had talked to Andre, that's when he had found out she was in the room. I don't even remember anybody saying that she was in there for 2 hours. I don't even know where the 2 hours came from, because when I watched the episode back, I was like, nobody even said that she was in the room for 2 hours. So I don't even know where
somebody said it somewhere.
I don't remember hearing it.
I feel like, was it Andre in the kitchen? It was when he was like, she was crying in there with like 2 hours. Like, y'all are in a house. Like, where you been for 2 hours? I mean, it's 6 of us here. It's 7 of us here. You ain't noticed somebody with blood on your arm, sir?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Even I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
A little bit.
You ain't sorry. Well, Pio, I'm sorry. Sabrina, I missed that episode that you saw. I missed that one. That scene on that one. Where is this energy from Tony that he was just checking on his woman and just saying about her? Tony's energy, again, from now till then has been off, and it's really coming out the way I've been seeing him. And he coming in like, really? When he came in the door, he didn't come in there with concern. He wanted to find out and trying to stop her from feeling the way she's feeling. Like I said, I mean, I'm an energy person. I could feel the energy off the screen the same way I could feel the energy along with Blake and the words that he says. It's an energy thing. He brought negative energy. She felt it. Cynthia tried to, I guess, intervene or get in there, and he slammed the door. No, who would want to be around it? But like I said, everybody loves differently. So you got to let everybody who loves and receives differently. So I let all y'all have it.
But he ain't act like that and slam out the door until she gave him that energy, and he just was reciprocating. He didn't come in there with that energy.
Well, you don't. Even if that did happen in that episode, you still don't mirror if that took place. As a man, men and women are different. I know people say, yes, we have emotions, we have nervous system, but we are different. We're not the same.
And, you know what? And that's what's called toxic. That's what's called being toxic. When you mirror negative energy. Yeah, when you mirror negative energy towards somebody else, right? And you reciprocate that same BS. You're being toxic, and you're being toxic towards each other.
She responds to Tony like that every time, though. Every time she got a smart mouth. She always got something smart coming out her mouth. So it's not the first time.
She does. Sabrina, you're correct. She does. She's very quick with her tongue when she's speaking to me. I don't fancy the way that she speaks, like to the men, to Tony. However, Tony, not one person. The first person told Tony Morgan was upset. The second person had to tell Tony, and it wasn't until Tony, like the first time when he heard she was upset and crying, it was like, he was dismissive. The second time when he heard it again, it's like, I think I know what she's crying about, but I hope it ain't about this Linden. This. So like, I feel like both of them were coming from the wrong place. What I saw was her, like I said, you in a room for 2 hours for attention, right? You wanted the attention. He came through the door, and what did she say? I mean, you just gonna stand there? What she wanted, y'all know these toxic people, they fight to make up. So she wanted him to come in there, cuddle her, coddle her, give her some physical affirmation, something. She wanted him physically there. And he wasn't catching on from the door, or he was pissed off. Annoyed. You are correct on how she was responding to him. You are absolutely correct. She does not, like, it's very rude how she speaks to men. However, well, the men that we've seen on the show. However, both of these two wrongs were wrong. They both was being a fool.
And I have a question for Sabrina. If a man wagers your body, right, to sleep in somebody else's bed or whatever, if a man is wagering you or treating you as if you have been some sort of commodity, right, and not a human being, so you're totally objectified, how do you talk to somebody like that? Like, I mean, I can understand, that energy coming off of Morgan, where she's like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Because look at the way those two treat each other. And I'm not saying that, one is better than the other, but it's the relationship that they built up.
I mean, don't get it twisted. At that moment, we were discussing the energy that he was giving and she was giving at that moment when they were in the room. Now, if you're asking me specifically, you're absolutely right. One is no more toxic, or I don't even like using the word toxic, but one is not more, worse than the other one. They're pretty much on the same level when it goes back and forth. So it's like, I get it. And it's like, they both have their own levels of disrespect, to be honest with you.
No doubt.
And, but, we were speaking about Morgan at that time and Tony, but yeah, so to be honest with you, it's reciprocated with both. It's just a lot of times though, like Tony has his faults and the things that he does, but a lot of times she be coming for Tony. You know what I mean? And she's actually been doing that from the very beginning. And maybe I need to go back and start watching it from episode 1. Like, has Tony always been like this, or did he start being like this from the very beginning? Because that's the energy he was getting from her, which means in his head, he feel like, I can go ahead and vouch for you to sleep in the bed with me, because you know what? That's what you've been giving me. Because to be honest with you, I feel like men treat women accordingly to how they present themselves to the man.
No doubt.
Because he's not going to say that and do that about me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that girl. I'm not that woman. So you're definitely not going to talk like that to me. But because she has opened that door to make him feel like he's able to do that, yeah, he gonna do it.
Right. And so I think that I feel like when a woman talks, I was gonna say, okay, when a woman talks to a man in that way, right, it's because there's, women, whenever there's intimacy, right, they feel like, in some cases, they feel like they have the tool to keep the guy in check. And so in this instance, it seems like, they've already had a level of intimacy in which, she's like, okay, I have the power, so I should be able to talk to you like this, and you have to respond to me like this. There's an expectation that's there. And yeah, it looks confusing because we're not behind the closed doors when we see what they're doing, but it just comes off like that's what's going on.
Yeah. And to be 100% fair to Tony, Morgan has been embarrassing him this entire episode as well, the entire time they've been on this retreat, because Tony has said it multiple times, like he's hinted to, I wish she need to quit playing with him. She needs to just let him go. I think he was embarrassed that she made it seem like there was a fighting chance for Linden. I think he didn't like his manhood being challenged like that as well. I think he put it out there basically like, I'm the man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, we munching, we lunching, we doing all this stuff, but there's still room for another man to come in despite the magic stick. So I think that he was just as triggered and just as, you know, all the way to the left as she was. I just,
Sharice, what you got?
Sharice is gonna have to be single. This is what they have to offer her in Miami, because good sister Sharice, I don't want you with any of these people down there. No, ma'am, I do not want you and me. I do not even want you to walk on the same side of the street with men who act like this. Like, no.
Honey, they're just not down there. They're up here too. They're everywhere.
Street, Stacey. Just gotta know what side of the street to be on in Miami. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, ladies.
Sharice, what else you got? What the hell? What do you agree on, Sharice? Tell me. Exactly.
We've been playing it so safe.
Well, listen, I gotta walk the streets with these people. Y'all don't. You in Texas.
I'm about to be in Miami, and I hope nobody try to pull up.
I know, Stacey. I'm gonna have your back.
Call security for me, security.
Yeah. Right.
No. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I don't know. The Tony and Morgan thing, obviously they have something going on outside of production, like Paul would say. It just seems like they have something, you know, like some underlining. That's the way they communicate. I was shocked that he got so annoyed in the way they speak to each other as well. But I think that it's just the way that they have formed their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it's, you know, it's the language they speak.
Yeah.
And Sharice, by the way, you know, you can be, you know, just lay it all out there, because like you said, you know, we only going off of what we see. We ain't judging these people based off of who they are personally.
Yeah.
We know that they is somebody else, that the camera, you know, isn't really portraying them as, but we just talking about them based off of the television show. It's like a movie review. That's all. So, you know, hey, if you want to say they really made it.
Well, if you would ask me,
because I'm coming into Miami.
It does not look like she's feeling Tony. Like, she's very dismissive of him, and you know, it just
yeah,
he's annoyed by him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyrone, what you got? You got anything else?
Yeah, I think it's definitely miscommunication. It's definitely not easy trying to support someone that is going through the process, right? Especially if they're your connection, because at some point you want them to choose, and he feels like at this point she should have already chosen, which we have already agreed on earlier, right? And we go through this every season where people don't bring clarity. We mentioned them being toxic to each other. Tony is already going in the room pessimistic based off of what Andre is saying about why Morgan is in the room. Nope, Tony's not a victim, but he still went in there to check on her. I felt like they have this communication thing to where Tony could understand why Morgan is upset through the nonverbal communication that they have. Once Tony found out that it was about Linden, in his mind, there's no reason for him to be in there, because he could be like, yes, I will support you. Yes, I know you want me to support your feelings, but what I'm not going to do is support you while you boo-hooing over another dude, right? I'm going to leave, right, until you figure it out. And I feel like that's just what it is. And you mentioned staying, Paul. You mentioned going through all that with your wife, with your lady. When you care, you are willing to do those things, right? And when you don't, then we're going to see exactly what we saw. But I honestly feel like a lot of it is about why she's emotional. Not that he doesn't care about her at all. It's the why, which means he still got to go through this one more time with this dude being here, which he feels like he shouldn't have even been there to begin with.
And I get that. I understand that. At the end of the day, though, as a man, right? Because we talking about somebody that called Linden out and said, "You want to take this mess outside or whatever." So, as a man that's going to come with that type of energy, you should be saying to her, "Look, I don't want to be involved in this particular situation while you get over this other man. You know, you take your time and do what you got to do. Like, I'm here for you. You know, anything outside of this, I'm here for you. But I can't, console you over another man, because that to me, that would be me being fake. And I would be like, half-ass in the game. But I would still have that communication to say, look, I'm not doing this with you for a whole nother grown man. Like, I'm sorry, I can't be here in this respect. But whenever you're done dealing with that, let me know and we can pick it up from here. But he just said, "Oh, it's about him." Boom, close the door. He George Jefferson shut the door on her, and then went down and laid the bed.
Another thing we have to keep in mind is that Linden had I could see how Morgan could be torn, because look at what Linden told her that Tony said in front of everyone. So I'm sure that if he told her that in front of everyone, what Tony said about the other girl being there, then he must be telling her other things about Tony. So it seems like she's very torn, because Linden is playing the nice guy, and then Tony is like the bad guy that she's falling for. So I don't know.
Hey, they have a whole show about people, where women are attracted to bad people. What is that? The love after lockup or whatever. And it seems like, some women, they like the drama. They like the fact that this person gives them a wow factor. Maybe she's infatuated with that.
You do
Who
that
knows?
for once in your life, you will never want that toxicity again.
Yeah. I don't think all of it was about Linden. I think a lot of it may have been just this emotion where she just got 38 years of this cycle that she just don't seem to get right. And it's hitting her all over again. And she's just really, really emotional about it. So now she's just at a point where she just got this one last dude left that's some half-ass giving her some attention. She half-ass sees a little bit of potential, and she's just gonna allow him possibly to try to fix it and give it a shot. I think that's most of what it is, or what I'm hoping all the tears are about.
I followed you,
What was you
Ty,
gonna say?
all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I followed you, Ty, all the way up to give it a try. I think that poor Linden, he was there, and then she used him to pull the jealousy card to provoke a different response or behavior from Tony.
Yeah, I agree with that, because she even mentioned, I like his assertiveness, but he just needs to turn it off, right? That was her comment, right? And I think earlier in the seasons, we mentioned her liking the attention, but she doesn't like it when she can't harness that, I guess you could call it the toxicity. When she doesn't know how to recognize it and use it for her advantage, then she just seems to crumble in those points, and then take it as like disrespect, or it's bad, or he's mad at me. Because we could say the same things about Morgan. Like, we want to see how she reacts when she's mad at Tony too.
And you know what else? Something. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
No, go ahead.
You know what else? Something I just thought about that I noticed. If you notice how they talk about each other when they're not around each other, like she's like, they kind of like talk down a little bit about each other. So like, oh, well, he's, he needs to work on this. He needs to do that. And then he's talking about what he's doing with her, where she sleeps. Like, he's talking about, oh, you can have her. I'll take this one behind, in their own close quarters. So what it seems to me is like, on top of like this toxicity thing, it's like we're having a power struggle as well. Like I'm running him. No, I run her. You know what I mean? And then you're in front of people and people are watching and they see Morgan popping off at him. So he's like, not until all the dudes, I run this girl, this my show. And then the reverse happens for, you know, for her with him, whereas like he's saying all this stuff, he's embarrassing me. And I done said, you know, he needs to fix it. I'm running this. And I think that they both just hit that wall.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's also a power grab.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Tony has started out objectifying Morgan. Morgan is a piece of commodity, a piece of, you know,
Property.
Finance or whatever.
Linden started that, Paul.
That's not true.
Tony. It is true.
That's not true.
It was Linden's idea to play for Morgan's honor.
I think Linden in the moment was just being. Yeah, I think he was just being cheeky with Tony.
Not to play for her draws, her honor.
And Tony scaled it up and said, you know what? How about we play for where she's sleeping at tonight? And then that Linden was caught off guard, like, okay, whatever, right? And then you got to understand, look, think about it this way, Todd. If you sitting in a room, let's just say you're in the bar with a woman that you came there with, that you dated, you've already been, you know, that through the ups and downs or whatever with her, right? And she's sitting at the bar and you see these men trying to talk to her, right? You don't have any problem with that because you like, that's my girl. I know who she's leaving with. We got in the same car with each other. It doesn't matter what you say or do. She's coming home with me. That is the same energy that he's given Linden. Period. And that gives him the advantage to treat her like an object because he's already got in the bag.
I kind of see it that way, but I don't. Like I said, 90% of everything coming out of Linden's mouth is about Tony. And Tony's just tired of it.
But listen though,
right.
If you genuinely
the same applies to Tony. He keeps talking about Linden too.
And I'll say this, if you genuinely like a person organically, like you could see something about this person that could play in your life, and you hearing all this noise from somebody that you know damn well ain't good for her, who's for the streets or whatever, and you like, yo, like, why you want, you know, if this was me, I would make this woman my queen. I wouldn't be playing with her emotions like that. I, you know, put her in the house and built a castle with her, and meanwhile, you want to play with her like, you know, like she's nothing. That's probably the energy that Linden's getting. And he's like, yo, you need to look at this. Like, I'm here for you. I don't know what this dude talking about, but you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be here. So I think that's the energy that he's coming off on.
J-Dub, you got anything else to conclude with this?
No, I don't like to beat a dead horse for all the people who love toxic energy and mistreatment. I just let them have it because only you know when it's enough.
Oh my gosh.
He did a whole PSA. Only you know when it's enough.
All right, guys, real quick, pause for the cause. It is 353 of you watching. And in the chat, shout out to you guys. You guys know without us, there is no us. I appreciate you being here. But there is only 171 thumbs up. Can we go ahead and get a thumbs up from you guys if you are enjoying this panel review? A lot of people have been asking me to do my song, just wondering who's taking their shirt off tonight. But we're going to go ahead. A lot of people have been wanting my song, so I'm going to give it to them, okay? P.O., you ready? Hit that thumbs
It's at least one more week.
hit
I need
that thumbs up. Definitely hit the thumbs up, hit that like button if you are enjoying the show. We appreciate you guys being here with us on this Tuesday night. Oh my God. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I thought you've been on your green smoothies. I thought you've been on your green smoothies and those Thai push-ups getting ready for us.
I've been trying.
Oh,
Man.
hold on.
I've been doing pull-ups. I've been doing pull.
Look, why Paul said give him 2 more weeks. In 2 more weeks, we're not even going to be recording anymore.
I said one. No, last week was 2 weeks. So then I need. This is week 1, and then I need next week, and then after that, I should be good to go.
Yeah, well, everyone's saying take it off. So
I've been doing my thumb curl-ups and finger curl-ups and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm trying.
Yeah.
Trying to be like Terry Crews. He'd be doing all of that stuff. I'm trying to be like him.
Well, folks are saying it's time to deliver. So
yeah, we have to. You know what? I'll tell you what.
He is stunning. I saw him in real life, y'all. I told y'all how good that man smelled. I know underneath his clothes he gotta look good, because you can't not look good under clothes and smell good. Because even if you don't look good, that cologne gonna make it look good.
So what we're gonna do is, we'll try and figure it out. And there goes my sister talking about my chicken chest. She knew me back when I was, flat chested and all that other stuff. Growing up, I was like 114 pounds. So that's the guy she remembered. And of course, she specifically told me, if you take your shirt off, give me a heads up so I can log off and then log back on, because I don't want to see that mess.
Who said it?
My sister.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sure it's a little different. Yeah, because that is your sister.
Right. Yeah. So there's that.
All right, guys. So
prison pull-ups on the door.
But I will do it for charity.
This is charity.
That's what I was about to say. Do I need
to drop them coins? Drop them super.
I was ready to say yes, because Tyrone, how much did you make? Like $60? Yes. No, but Theo, you got to take your shirt off. They're not paying. They're not going to give no super chats unless you really going to do it. If you're not going to do it, I'm not going to take their money.
Now, when I do it, I'm not going to do it today, but I will do it before this season is over. I will do it for a charitable donation.
Okay.
For sure.
Tyrone, if you decide,
I will make sure.
Okay, well, we can't do it today because it's J-Dub said that he's about to log off, and we need him to stay for the panel. We're almost done, so we need him to stay. Look, you got people saying, let's go, P.O. We got other people saying, please don't, P.O.
Here we go. See?
Go.
Right. Yeah, let me train first.
Take it off.
Let me do that Terry Crews thing first. Whenever I can make it, do like Terry Crews.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, we got some dollars.
Yeah, so give me a week. One more week.
Okay.
Right. One more week.
I'm
when we get off the phone, give me 500 push-ups.
Yeah, that's what you got it. There it is.
Wow.
I feel like he's pump faking.
No, he's not.
Until next week, P.O., and you'll be there. You'll be nice and swole by the time you get.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm about to go drink me a steroid shake, and
Don't do that. You can get bumps. You're gonna have steroids. Your nipples gonna be pointy.
All right, guys. Intermission is over. We got 337 in the chat and watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We made it to 183. Let's make it to 100. 200. That would be amazing. So let's try to get to 200 thumbs up. All right, guys, moving forward. Thank you so much for that intermission. Unfortunately, P.O. did not take his shirt off. He did not deliver. The group gets together for a pajama party and then pass their candles out. Tony did not make it. He went to sleep. Jeffrey gives a candle to Andre, the biblical husband. Mark Anthony gives a candle to Mercedes called a little brown sugar thing, my little brown sugar thing. Jeffrey seemed to be in her feelings and said that Mark Anthony showed a little of his ego. Yeah, he showed a little bit of his ego. I'm just saying that time when he was talking about the candle. Mercedes gives Mark Anthony a candle called Little Haitian Nation. Anthony's candle to Cynthia is called Thinking of You. Cynthia made Anthony a candle called Coffee because she wants to wake up to him every morning. Cynthia also made a candle for Andre because she wants to give him his flowers. And Anthony was like, hold on. We could have made two. She was like, I'm sorry. He was like, yo, can I get ready to go make another one? Cynthia was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He like, yeah, because I need to go make another one real quick. So he definitely was in his feelings. Andre also made Cynthia a candle, and it was called Apple of My Eye. Anthony also gives Jeffrey a candle, and Andre gives Morgan a candle, and it says, hey, like, he was like, hey, it's one more candle. Like, whose candle is this? And Andre gives that candle to Morgan and says, I'm sorry, not Andre. What's his name? No, is it Andre? Linden. I'm sorry. Linden gives Morgan a candle, and she's like, yeah, he's like, this is called two flames because you got two flames. He like, but when you use it, only light one wick. She like, okay, I'm only gonna light one wick. And then that's when Andre was like, wait a minute, it's one more candle left. She's like, oh, that's the one, that must be from Tony. So she picked it up and was like, it's a bug in it. That was their last night there, and they decided to dance and turn up. Child. Oh my God, what is going on, Stacy? What's that? Oh, you are so funny. Oh my gosh. Stacy, did you already take it down? You still got it on your phone?
There we go. Hello.
There we go.
New pick. New pick.
There you go.
She said change the pick.
I mean, the Soul Mates was tired of looking at the bun, the half up, half down. So production had to make a decision.
That part. So what y'all think about the candles that they made for each other? How y'all feel about Anthony in his feelings and was like, let me go make a candle. I'm trying to figure out who the hell he gonna make the candle for. Do y'all know? Or maybe I'm tripping.
No.
Probably a thank you to Mercedes.
Oh, you so sweet, Ty. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
For not being there.
Gave one to Cynthia.
Say it again.
You saying that Anthony only gave one to Cynthia?
Yeah, he only gave one candle out, and it was to Cynthia, but Cynthia gave a candle to
but why shouldn't he already made it clear that's the only connection he had? What was he supposed to do? Because remember, Mercedes had already said no.
I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of looked like that they solidified it in the pool because they both agreed that they weren't going to kiss anybody until they found their person. So right. I was really shocked that she even gave a candle to Andre when I thought that kiss solidified everything. So.
Oh, yeah, that was a twist.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's up, Little Black Book? Hey, Kojo.
Kojo in the building.
Yeah, he's saying shout out to It's J Dub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he said hey to the panel first. He also said hey to the panel.
He did.
Production, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. Why y'all producing this?
Oh my gosh, Paul.
This is natural.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was real interesting that Cynthia did make a candle for Andre too. How do you guys feel about Jeffrey's candle to Andre, the biblical husband?
Child, please.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
No
Stacey.
comment.
You know, that's her pattern. She gonna do whatever she gotta do to get a stepdaddy for them 3 kids, whatever it takes. I don't care what
Wow.
goes. She
The
gonna get
But
it.
I mean,
Get
at
it.
least be accurate. They talking about apple of my eye, Haitian creation. Baby, ain't nothing biblical about what they've been doing. It's all
Facts.
outlawed in the Bible. Everything. All them kisses, the way they been kissing and stuff. No. Ain't nothing biblical about that. It
I mean,
should have said
like
fantasy.
Tony may be the biblical husband.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
right.
a fantasy
But I'm
husband. Maybe like, child.
I thought it was like a way to drum up some drama, possibly. The whole biblical husband thing is confusing, especially when
And
she's
guess what?
still stressing about what Mark Anthony gonna do.
It
You know,
fell
when she
flat.
laid with her biblical husband. So
Somebody said I wonder what
Right.
Bible she was referring. That's funny.
Because first of all, if it ain't frankincense and myrrh smelling like a Catholic church, then it ain't a biblical candle either. Child, please.
God. What scent you using candle called biblical?
Smell like them Bible pages.
You sure ain't gonna use the Erykah Badu flavor scent.
Hey.
You need to call Tyrone flavor.
Give me that Badu, baby, and that Badu was all up through the retreat the way everybody was kissing.
Well.
Man. I don't even want to say it again.
Say it again.
I don't want to.
That's probably why Tony
I
was full.
was in my feelings, so you might need to say it again in case I accidentally spoke over you.
It doesn't make sense though. I'm not gonna repeat it. I don't want it stuck in my head. What did Tyrone say? It's too no, I'm not feeding into it. You can put it up on the screen again. I'm not gonna say the words. Exactly. That's what we're talking about.
So that's where the leaf was coming to match his hair came from. Okay, I needed it to make sense.
What?
No, he said something. No, because remember he talked about the feather and when they were eating dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I'm so
But
just.
he talked about it from a very short-sighted place. Like, first of all, y'all are in Florida, home of how many Native Americans? Like, what?
Was he even wearing the feather this night? Like right now? Did he have? See, the feather wasn't in his hair. How did y'all start talking about feathers?
Because the little feather on the candle looked like the feather that was in his head.
So, but he didn't have that curl this time, did he?
Oh my gosh.
He was getting. Yeah, I can't.
Oh my God.
Somebody like us, so I'm gonna just sit down.
Somebody said Andre Candle should smell like weed. Oh my God.
That would have been a great promotion opportunity, though.
Facts.
Why? Does he have weed?
Yeah,
No,
I think that's his company.
Yeah.
One of his companies.
Oh.
That's what he was in Forbes with, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well. Okay. So does anybody have anything else to say about the whole passing of the candles? Anthony and his feelings because he didn't get to make 2 and Cynthia gave 1 to that's what we ain't talk about. How y'all feel about Tony not doing his candle and it having a bug in it?
He had to go after all that toxicity. He had to get his rest. He was like, man, I need to go to bed, man. F them candles. Y'all got that.
Yeah, he was out of it. He wasn't in the mood.
Yeah, his candle represented exactly what's going on. Nothing. Yeah.
Cat,
Oh.
that part. Yeah, I think we're just over it at this point. Like it's just not giving what it's supposed to give anymore.
No.
All right, let's move on. Oh God, because we're almost done too. The next morning, Tony and Morgan sit and talk. He apologizes to Morgan and she wants him to be more intentional. Morgan asks Tony, like, what should he be, or why should he be the man in her life? She says, like, they share a deeper and spiritual connection. He says, I'm a giver, I'm a protector, I'm a provider, I'm going to help you grow, I'm going to encourage you. And he says pretty much that it's all about Morgan. He's like, it's all about you. And Morgan says that when it's just him and her, he gives her what she needs. Excuse me. And he says that he is still open to make it work. And then they share a kiss.
You okay?
Well,
Get in your bed.
Not all at once.
I'll just say,
come
like,
on, P.O.
personally, I'm not a fan of those types of questions because it's almost like, do you need convincing or do you just want to hear it out of my mouth?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Well, I'm gonna say Morgan's love language must be words of affirmation, because Tony's selling her the 2-year dream. It just wiped every single thing he did away, like it never happened. That's what she needed to hear, and she was hooked all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a piggyback off of J Dub and say it's words of affirmation and physical touch.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like at this point, he can do no wrong. I don't know what kind of men she's used to. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I don't want to jump too far into it, but I am going to say this. I remember that in the previews, when she does go meet his family, because we're discussing it, you know, he says, I want to say it's his mom. She tells her, like, she wants to get therapy. And her mom was like, yeah, I ain't feeling that. So for her to say that she wants her and Tony to get therapy, I was like, wow, okay. So, you know, I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I really appreciated that. But the fact that she even recognizes his red flags, it's at least a step, because she really could not know them and know that they exist and completely have ignored them and be like, red flags where? But the fact that she does acknowledge them, I mean, that's the first step, you know, to them, I guess, becoming, because if they like it, I love it. Like, that's just where I'm at right now. I just hope that, you know, they don't hurt each other. But yeah.
Well, Sabrina, I would say this. I would say that it's not about recognizing the red flags with Tony, because it has to start with you first. And you have to question yourself as to why do you feel comfortable with dealing with men in this shape, right? And so you need, I mean, for her, I think she needs personal therapy. I'm not, you know, anybody that can offer medical diagnosis, I'll say that. But based off of, you know, what I'm seeing, you know, I would say go for the personal therapy first to ask, you know, to answer the questions as to why you're leaning on people that has these types of characteristics. And once you answer that, then you can be more successful in, you know, targeting what's really good for you and not kind of being sucked into what you're just used to being in.
P.O. just delivered.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said.
Well, Sabrina, you did say you commend her for suggesting that they go to therapy, and PO was saying that hey, she needs to go to therapy individually. Because I'm definitely piggybacking off of PO. You don't go into a relationship needing couples therapy. You know, you may have some bumps in the road along the way, but in order to have, you need therapy to actually coexist and move forward in the beginning. No, that's a huge red flag.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How you need couples therapy and you ain't a couple yet? Like, what the hell? Like, who does that? And then the other thing is, we have seen Morgan do this before. We saw her doing it at the house. We see her doing it from time to she always finds a way to make her say things to feel more superior than Tony. This was her way of saying, I'm the prize because he got problems, and if he want me to be with him, we need to go work out these issues he has. I think that's how the sister probably took it. The mama, whoever she was, took it.
But y'all have to also remember to, I'm sorry, Stacey, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But y'all have to also remember too, I just said that I commend her for saying that she wanted therapy. But you have to remember throughout this whole show, she never once said that she had a problem. So now if you want to talk about, let's talk about Morgan now. In Morgan's head, she don't think she has a problem.
Right. So that's why I said this was a one up in front of the family, like, oh, you know how he is. You know he's flawed. So we gonna go. She's saying words that she thinks would have a positive would resonate in a positive way, and it's not, because if me and PO go to my mom and PO's like, well, before I get with her, we're gonna have couples therapy or something. My mom is going to think, well, what you saying is wrong with my daughter? You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this was her again trying to, because, you know, remember, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of specifically what she said when she was talking. She said it when they were in the room with Mercedes, when Mercedes was riding the bike. Then she said it again with Cynthia, where she was like, you know, he don't know how to express. I wish he would say this to me. He gives other people good advice. He does this, that, and the third. So I think this is just another pattern of her slick emasculating him, slick like taking digs at him and his flaws in front of people. And no one likes their flaws aired out in an open forum.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and I feel like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things that I said early on, like when, you know, the first Nair and the hair stuff was coming out, and, you know, I beat her up pretty good about doing that. And then, you know, there was a follow-up episode where she doubled down on that again. So I would like to see, like, you know, maybe what the context is when this comes out in terms of her asking for therapy, if it does go and extend to say, you know, I need to get therapy for some of the things that I've done, and taking personal accountability for that. This is one of the things that I was looking for in that moment. If that doesn't happen, then we back to square one, and we're saying, you know, you still have to recognize what you need to recognize. That's
but
it.
PO, also, I don't mean but and PO, most of us, before we try to enter a relationship, the ones of us who are self-aware and have a good support system, we're going to use these tools prior to being involved with someone else. We're going to go through therapy, have our little nips and tucks with our counselor, our pastor, whomever, you know, however we seek our counsel. And then we're going to put our place to have a successful and healthy relationship. We're not 20 years old. These are people that's 40, 38, 39, 40 plus. We know better. We know better. Like, if you didn't do this to prepare yourself for someone else to be in a relationship, then it's too damn late to do it once you not. I don't mean too late, but I mean you trying to say let's do a couple therapy and we ain't even a couple. That sounds crazy to me.
It's J-Dub.
I think I said all I had to say on that one.
Really? I was trying to get you to say more, but okay.
We'll give me an alley oop. Give me something, and I'll go. I'll give me something. Just say.
So,
something.
do you feel like Tyrone? What were you about to say?
Tyrone, don't be rude.
I'll try to give J-Dub something.
Give him something
something to be pessimistic.
Give him an alley-oop.
Give me an alley-oop, Ty.
I mean, you've been all night, Tyrone. So anything you say will be ample food.
Nah, I totally missed that convo with the family and in the therapy, but I do feel like if she's mentioning therapy, it's making me feel like they've already made a long-term commitment to each other, which is why she's going through all of this still. You know what I mean? And maybe the therapy is starting for her, starting right now, for a long-term relationship that they've already agreed to. Go ahead, J-Dub.
Well, yeah, I actually did address that. As I said, the trying to go to therapy before you start a relationship is absolutely insane. Like P.O. said, if you need some fixing, you need to try that individually. And then if some bumps come along later in the future when they're preparing for love and marriage, as they said they are, then maybe, yeah, but not coming in the gate needing couples therapy when you have not even solidified the relationship. And it's just like I say, a lack of accountability with Morgan. Like, again, anybody who can laugh at putting nair in the hair loses all credibility to me. I mean, like, especially at her big grown age. And yeah, I don't know what more to say about that. After that, I was just so disappointed in her. It was just, I never saw it for her anymore after that, because a woman like Morgan in the real world, not on Ready to Love, is dangerous. Absolutely. So that's it.
And also, just to kind of add a little bit more to what context of what you were saying, Tyrone, I feel like, you're saying that, what was it? You said that that she wanted therapy, and what was it? What? Can you take me back to the last part, just so I don't mess it up?
Who are you talking
What
to?
Morgan mentioned to Tony's family about therapy?
Yeah.
I was saying that I feel like they've already made a long-term commitment to each other.
Yeah. So the thing is, first off, it's okay to change your mind, right? You don't have to commit to that because they're not in a marriage or whatever. So I feel like, ultimately Morgan needs to take a step back. If they did make that commitment, if they made a pact to say, we're going to be together and we're going to find a way, ultimately you have to still take a step back and say, yo, wait, it's me. Like, I need to make sure that I'm good for me first before I can be good for you. You understand? And I feel like, that's probably the approach that's not going to be taken. And that's where the toxic traits kick in, because you think you can beat this being the person that you are, but it never worked. And that's why you're even in this situation now.
All right, guys. Does anybody have anything else with the Morgan and Tony meetup after the next morning? All right, let's go ahead and move forward. We have Blake. I'm sorry, guys. Blake sits down with Tommy, and there's an echo. I hear an echo. Blake sits down with Tommy and takes himself out of the process. He says that there is no one else in this process that is there for him, and it's pretty much too far in the process for him to even try to make a connection with anyone else. So he does remove himself. What do you guys think, and how do you feel about Blake sitting down and telling Tommy this. It's an echo, guys. Someone has an echo. Hold on. What is this, Stacy?
Yeah, we didn't need to see this. This was unnecessary. The fellas could have delivered the message.
Right.
Okay, fine. Let's see.
I'm just playing.
Well, I'm still going to show my pictures. Hold on.
Peace out.
My God, I got one more picture.
Yeah, I say good for him.
The dumb.
Okay. All right, now moving forward. Damn it. All right, here we go. Next up, we have Mercedes and Mark Anthony meet for a solo date. Mark Anthony in the confessional says that he still is trying to figure out things with Jeffrey. He's like, I don't know, like I'm feeling her, I'm feeling Mercedes, but I'm feeling Jeffrey too. Like I just don't know. So Mark Anthony and Mercedes play a game of two truths and a lie to get to know each other a little bit more. Mercedes says that walking away from this date, that she is pretty much solidifying the relationship between her and Mark Anthony. He says that he still doesn't see himself drifting towards more for Mercedes even after this date. And pretty much that this date is just making it harder for him to pick between the two women.
I thought this was a pitiful date. I mean, I believe this is the first time other than, well, we sort of meet up, like what they had, beer and chess or whatever they were doing. Like
that's this.
Yeah, we could have got a little bit more here. They supposed to have been solidifying their relationship. I mean, I was just like, but I mean, it is what it is. With them, it's very light, it's very fun, non-committal, fly by the, the scene or whatever. Yeah, it's just them. I actually think this is the best couple here because they don't want too much from each other. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
But a good time.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Yeah, I wish that, let's quit playing with these people. Mark Anthony, you already locked in with her. You ain't going after Jeffrey because Andre already got Jeffrey on lock. Just be quiet, man. Let's just get on with the show and let's get to the end and see what y'all talking about. Because this right here, chest for kisses, whatever.
I mean, for real, she said she solidified it that date. He said that he ain't doing nothing because he's still confused because he liked Jeffrey and Mercedes. But he said it in his confessional and she said something different. So I just thought that it was just crazy to me how he's saying one thing and she's saying completely like something different. It's just kind of disappointing or whatever. I hope he doesn't hurt her. But it doesn't matter because she ain't gonna pick him anyway. She gonna pick Andre. So I mean, just my opinion. So do y'all got anything else on them?
No.
All right.
I mean, it makes me think because Jeffrey mentioned that she still is confused about Mark Anthony, right? And Mark Anthony is saying the same thing, which is making me feel like, why would they still be saying that at this point? In the words of Paul, maybe one of the questions should have been, I haven't smashed anyone else on the cast. Other than that, I was really paying attention to the chessboard, because I play and the board was all messed up. Other than that, I feel like we saw the truth come out of Mercedes, finally about what she wanted. From the outside looking in, she comes off, genuine, good wife type. But in the end, she knows what it is. She knows what she wants. She seems like she knows what her boundaries are. Do you know what I mean? And she's just saying what it is. She don't have the capacity to give all of that to, a grown man that needs that right now, and, they both admitted to both being young, and it is what it is. It looked like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I ain't jealous of nothing, but it's cool.
Yeah, they're definitely there for a good time and not a long time. That's facts. I've been saying that for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does
Which is
anybody?
so crazy.
Mhm.
Which is so crazy because we've had a lot of you know, with us being cast members and just being, you know, kind of RTL connoisseurs. I don't think we've ever seen a cast that is so, you know, like not sexual, but you know, like where it's like everybody's like an option for each other at this point. I think in the past, like when we got to these points in the seasons before and every season before, we've been able to look and say, oh, that's my favorite. This a couple, this, that. Oh, I want to see them. Like, but at this point in the past, we were believers and we were this is a very like heated, like sexual tension, I guess, cast. And it's so hard to try to navigate it because like I don't know, like with Jeffrey trying to make it like she still has options. I know I don't really think that she actually feels that way. I don't know if she's saying that just for show attention or if she's saying that for Andre to amp it up. You know what I mean? Like and that goes the same for Mark Anthony. Like Mark Anthony knows, I mean his friend said it. You not answer nobody with no kids like that. Stop playing. You know what I mean? Like that's not you. So what are you talking about? And here you are with another lady you hugged up with her in your face. Y'all were at the same retreat. Y'all can see each other like canoodling in a pool. You know, she wanted that man so bad she got in the jacuzzi with tights on, with her leggings on. So let's just call a spade a spade. Like this is so crazy to me. To be faking the funk so hard is crazy to me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sharice.
Sharice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
With
pretty wild.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharice. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I agree with you. It's like you just don't see it. All the other seasons, like you could really identify the couples. You saw the passion. Here, I do see a lot of kissing and stuff. Like they are a lot more physical than other seasons for sure. I don't know what that's about.
Well, that's my
that's
point. Like you can't have your tongue all the way down on national TV, all the way down somebody's throat, right? Lipstick all on their face, and then still be talking about, well, I don't know, you know, I still have a thing with this person.
Right.
That's not what you're showing us. So it makes us not believe you because you're showing us all this passion and heat for this person. And then like my other thing is that like, why do you think is wrong? Like, why are you not okay with dropping the insecurities, like some of the cast, dropping the insecurities and committing to someone and going through that love process at this point, at this stage in the process? Like, why are we not?
Right. Why are we still choosing or not talking about who? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Mark Anthony, if nothing else, well, I don't know. I think he's a shorter guy. I've never seen a guy. But if nothing else, you know, he might have a modeling career to come out of this. You know, if he's got enough height on him, you know, but I don't really see him coming out of here with a relationship.
Well, he could already had one that's on hold now, PL. Don't get it twisted. He might come out with the girlfriend that he had when the show, you know, when he was doing the show.
Hey, could be. I mean, who knows? I feel like, you know, in this, like, I don't see any spark coming from him saying, you know, I really am into this girl. I'm into this Mercedes. I think he's like, yo, you here, I'm here. You know, we're here to do something. So let's do it. whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doesn't seem like real passion, real connection, real, emotions, and none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Anthony 6162, so he might get, he might could get a little modeling career going on.
He might have one.
I mean, yeah, maybe,
A model is all
I
he
mean,
has every season.
yeah, I think he would be good for that, for sure.
I can definitely see him on like a Wrigley's commercial or something like that, where they're chewing that gum and then they hit that smile.
She said,
I was thinking more maybe, maybe he could do something for like Starbucks, or he seemed like that kind of guy that could, come get a latte real quick, chug a little bit of it down, and give you the little. You should try it.
Let me look at his page and see if he ever did any modeling.
J-Dub, you got anything on this, on Mark Anthony and Mercedes to conclude?
And his acting or modeling career?
No, that's PO diving deep, with the possibilities of Mark Anthony's career. He said he's gonna be a pilot. I'm gonna stick with that. I don't want to go into the modeling.
Oh, he's in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he might be on a Delta commercial. I'm sorry.
But he also said, didn't he say he was like in medical and then didn't know a medical term or something? Like he ain't know what
lab tech.
Crohn's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lab tech.
What you got, Tyrone?
Nothing.
You ain't got nothing for me.
None.
I just wanted to be like gushing over a couple by now. Like, oh.
Yeah, I think me too.
No PO, no modeling. I don't see it in his future.
Oh.
Mark Anthony, my brother, if you watching, find an agent. If you need an agent, I know one, so call me or, IG me or whatever.
Eyeglasses, I don't know. Who he modeling for?
Gucci, Versace, who knows?
Versace.
I don't want to see him in that. I want to see them other guys.
So moving forward, anybody have any last remarks for Mercedes and Mark Anthony in their situationship? Okay, here we go. So the ladies are meeting the ladies are meeting in the ladies' lounge. Tommy tells the ladies that he has some news, and he explains to them that Blake has removed himself from the process. Jeffrey states that, it was to be expected. It was a compound. The ladies express their strongest and weakest connections. Morgan gets emotional again while talking about her connection and red flags with Linden and with Tony. She speaks passionately about Linden, but states that the heart wants what the heart wants. She is going to go on a date with Linden, and she has the power to either keep him or eliminate him. So she is going to find out, if he is worth staying, and he has to show her why he should stay. So let me just go ahead and read this. Morgan meets Linden. She tells Linden that the things that she wants out of a man, and asks Linden, do you think that that you are the man like that I need in my life? And he's like, no. She says that he doesn't know her enough, he says that he doesn't know her enough to promise her a marriage, a baby, and all this stuff. He was like, I didn't come into this thinking like I was going to be married in 2 years. So he says the answer is no, and he is eliminated, and they do share a kiss goodbye.
This is the part I was waiting on. So, I'll say this. I love Linden's emotional awareness in this moment, because he knows I'm not built for this life. I'm probably not the best person based off of what you described that you're looking for. But I feel like he was open to trying to get to a place with her. But realizing like, what's on the table, probably, what Tony is talking, he's probably like, man, I'm not gonna go through and, be toxic or give these crazy traits that you like because that's not who I am. And it seems like she likes a fighter. She just does. Some women like brutes. And you know, so she found that with him. But let's rewind back. Because let's talk about Tommy. Me and Thomas, we never really agree. I never really agree with Thomas on certain things. However, in this moment, I wholeheartedly, was like, yes, when he started talking to her, Linden, goodness, Morgan, about Tony and saying, don't you know when you see somebody toxic, don't you see red flags? Look at how you talk about Linden. And look at the things that you said about Tony. Like, he's actually given counsel. And this is the first time for me anyway, that I've seen Tony or Tommy really evaluate somebody and give them counsel, right? Like, I've never seen that from him. I've heard him say stuff on the fly, but he really seemed like he was genuinely concerned for her choices and her decision making. And he was trying to really hone her in, probably said, man, if this was my daughter, I wouldn't want to see her go out like this. So let me go the extra mile to dumb it down and break it down for her. And even though Tommy made perfectly good sense, even though Cynthia made perfectly good sense, and even on the way out the door, Linden was trying to make sense, she still chose the toxic path, right? And so for that, I'm thankful for Linden that he revealed that he wasn't about that life. And he saved himself and he dodged a bullet. Regardless of whatever it was, whenever somebody says, and puts it out there on blast and they still ignore every single thing that says get away from that person and you go through that door, consider yourself lucky to avoid that obstacle. That's it.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna jump in there. Shout out to D Brown for the super chat. Um, yeah, I'm glad that Morgan put low energy Linden out of his misery. At this point, I'm thinking I'm thinking Linden was just hanging around to see what was gonna happen after he gave Morgan some drinks at the bar. I'm still thinking he was with it. He's not there for love for anyone. Like I said, he's got his roommate. He's not looking to get married. He's working his part-time job and all that. He was just there. He just rode the wave because this isn't the first time somebody called him out again about his lack of energy or attentiveness or follow through. So I'm just glad to see him go. To me, he was just skating by. To me, I think like people like Lyndon, it's on this show, it's a waste of time. You are supposed to be there intentional about finding love. And I don't think he was ever that way. He was just going through the motion, having fun at the parties, getting the free food and drink. So rest in peace, Lyndon.
Hold on, J Dub, let me ask you a
You
question.
just say rest in peace. I was like, wait a minute, who died? I'm tired, so I'm delusional.
J Dub, man, what do you think though about how do you feel about what Tommy was saying about Morgan?
I'm still go to my famous slogan. Only you know when you've had enough. He tried to lead Morgan to that water, but she would not drink it. And you have to allow a person to fall or make those mistakes when they refuse. regardless of who they are in your life, your parents, your children, if they refuse, you cannot make them. Only they will know when they say, you know what, my time is up. I need to do better. I need to do something different. And she's verbalizing that what we all see. This man is red flag city, but yet she still comes forward. You know, that's saying a lot about where her state of mind is. So, I mean, I didn't think Tommy had a Yana Van Zant moment or nothing. It's just the fact that he's like, dag, Morgan, can't you see this man is no good for you? You know, and as I said, for the same people who support these type of people, everybody loves and receives differently. So some people need that person that yells at them, treats them aggressively, slam them up against the wall, all that kind of stuff. Some people into stuff like that. Everybody's different. Only you know when you had enough. Tommy tried to reach her. I saw that.
Yeah, and realistically, that was the most authentic that I've ever seen Tommy be in the ladies' lounge in terms of, you know, trying to really, you know, put the comedian aside and really offer some true context to, you know, the dating and, you know, kind of just figuring stuff out. And, you know, when a man gives it to you from a man's perspective, you know, you have to sort of take that and be like, yo, okay, this is coming from a man, like telling me this, who has no stake in the game at all. You know.
Well, that's like trying to tell somebody blind to see, just see, or somebody who doesn't know how to swim, swim. You know, she can't. She's that's her guy. He's talking love and marriage, and he's a provider and a protector and all of that. But you know, he doesn't hold her emotional state. I mean, in any kind of way, he disregards her. But as long as he's talking all those things that she wants to hear, and especially marriage and family, you know, her clock is ticking, and she's found that guy, that stable guy, or so she thinks. So it's all right in front of her, so she thinks. So
yeah,
she's gonna show her. She'll get it.
I hope I'm wrong about everybody. I really do.
I don't know, P.O., because you be delivering, so I don't know. Because you only been wrong one time. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, man.
Only been wrong one time. I don't know. But real quick, J Dub actually said it. Shout out to D Brown. Thank you so very much. She says, Sabrina, your hard work on your channel does not go unnoticed. You spend a lot of time and dedication on your notes, panels, vlogs, and missing link, etc. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you so very much, because I really, really do work hard. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Tyrone, what you got?
I don't know. Paul's been awfully, you know, emotional and empathetic about the whole Morgan thing. It must be that girl dad coming out of you.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen you this passionate, you know, about certain subjects, but you're on it tonight.
Let me turn into P.O. I'm gonna interrupt you, Tyrone. Tyrone, would you want a guy like Tony dating your daughter?
Good question.
Yes or no? Quickly.
No, but
exactly.
No.
So why you keep advocating for this man? I mean, I'm not even asking. That's a rhetorical question. Again, everybody loves and views differently. I'm gonna let y'all have it.
Yeah, I didn't even get to the advocating for Tony part.
Oh no, you just rewind the chat. It's in there.
Oh no.
The people know. The people know.
It's because I see it differently because of how it all came out. Do you know what I mean? Because of how it all came out, I see it differently. I guess for this date,
What you mean
like
from
I say,
video perspective? You mean from like a video or what?
No, I mean from like from a guy's perspective, in the way that me and my guys move, we would never do what Linden did. Like we don't talk that way. We wouldn't act that way. Like we wouldn't even talk about another man, honestly. You know what I mean? Especially say something negative.
I was talking about
Never.
Tony.
No, I understand. I think they was asking you was asking me, right, Stacey?
I was asking for you to clarify what you meant from how you see things.
Yeah, I was saying because my set of guys would never speak negatively on other men. And because it came out that way, I viewed everything differently.
But did you not view him differently? Because I viewed him being Tony, because I couldn't see you, Ty, knowing what I know of you, I couldn't see you speaking on your intimate exchanges with a woman in an open forum like Tony did as well.
I wouldn't, but I didn't. How do I say it without it sounding bad? I took it as this is the only way to make it clear to Linden that you keep trying me, and I need a way for him to. He needed a way for Linden to understand that he's going to lose because everything else didn't seem to be clear.
Well, Linden didn't break the guy code until after Tony said how many times he was kissing in the mouth and all that. He didn't break the guy code till then. So I feel like he said it out of defense of Morgan.
Okay. I was going to get to that. So I wanted to know, why would he say it, right? Because we were saying you break code because you either, you care about a friend or your sister or something, right? You don't try to bring down a guy just to win the girl. Do you know what I mean? You're supposed to, I guess, try to win on your own merit. Like you're a better man. He won, right? So when we got to this date, first, I was happy that he finally got a kiss from somebody. But then when he said that he wasn't the one for her, it was very frustrating because it made me think, why is he going through all of that, right? Is he going through all of that because he cares and wants to be a true friend? And then if that's the case, then in my opinion, I feel like you should stay with that and stick with that and still don't go for the kiss afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because it makes me feel like if she would have changed her mind, he would still date her. I also feel like if it was Mercedes that was talking about being married 2.5 years from now, he would give it some consideration, So I don't necessarily buy the whole I'm not ready to be married in 2 years thing. Those are just my quick thoughts, man. I don't want to go on and on about it,
I thought we were talking about Tony.
I'm not talking about Tony. You were bringing up Tony.
Talking about practice? We ain't talking about a game. We're talking about practice.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't.
We ain't talking about a game.
Yeah. Did I answer all the questions?
No.
What was the question that I missed?
Let's give it to Sabrina. Let's see where she wants to take it.
The original question I heard about Tony is, would I let my daughter date a guy like Tony? And I said no.
Well, all right. Thanks for the moment of silence. So does anybody have anything else to say about Linden's dismissal from the show? His elimination, his first kiss. Yeah, y'all got anything?
No, but I just have something that I wonder, right? What would happen if Linden said, yeah, I want to be here. Yeah, I want to be with you. And then Morgan, said, oh, okay. Well, then does that mean that Tony has to leave, or would they still just drag it on? I mean, that's really not a thought that requires an answer, just kind of, something that I thought about in terms of the show.
even though we're moving on, can I just say this? Because I think it's in alignment with UPO, which is so weird because I feel like I haven't been in this much alignment with you like ever.
Lord.
Like you are channeling your inner Ty. Ty is being channeling his inner PO. And I am in locked up with PO. And J Dub is major pain. Like, what the hell? Like, is it a full moon? Like, yeah. I just want to go back since we just had that lengthy discussion about it. Now that I'm thinking about it, Ty, like y'all brought this up a discussion because sometimes, like, okay, one thing I love to say about you guys is that, and I think that P.O. might have said it earlier, like when a guy is giving you advice from the male perspective, listen. You might not agree, but listen because they're I can't speak on behalf of a man or your emotions or how y'all think. So one thing y'all said, you were just saying, just made me think. Looking back, I feel like Linden looked defeated this episode. I think that he knew he was leaving. He just didn't know when. And I just kind of think that it was dragged about. Because even when it was even when they're having this argument at the table, it's not, listen, I care about you. I want to be with you. You need to choose one of. He never held her feet to the fire to choose. He just continually said that Tony wasn't good for her. He wasn't the best for her. And that's like kind of where he stood this entire episode. So it's leading me to believe that Linden was either he knew his time was up or he was just exhausted from constantly like this fight over this woman. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I feel like his emotional awareness was definitely there this episode. I also feel like, Linden understood that how much engulfed she was with Tony. And he knew that, Tony had the upper hand in terms of, vying for Morgan's attention and, her honor and all that other good stuff. And I feel like he was saying, look, I get it. You're into this man and there's nothing I can do about it. But there are things that you should know about this man going forward. And when you're giving that information from a perspective where you come to the table with clean hands, right? Like you don't have any ill will, assigned to this particular person. You still, even though you're leaving, you still want to see the best for that person, even if it's not with you. You're trying to help her navigate that, without, it's like words without words. Yo, I'm hearing what's happening, behind closed doors. I won't say that because maybe I broke code already with that other stuff. But if you knew what I knew, which is way worse, you probably would, you probably be out. And he was saying that in a respect where he wasn't putting it out there, front facing, but kind of his energy, the way that he was, delivering it to her, it was almost as if he was saying, you don't know what you don't know.
Stacey, I think that's an excellent point you brought up. More so about Linden not making his intentions known with Morgan. I mean, and that could be applied to most of the guys. Some people handle their emotions differently, but especially volunteering for this show, like if you're feeling something, you have a short amount of time to make it known. So why not make it known? That's the grown way to do it. Communicate. However you got to do it. Get your message across. And I definitely felt like Linden didn't make it clear that, hey, Morgan, I want you, we should be together, or anything like that. It's just more so, hey, it's Tony's bad and Tony's this, and I don't want to fight. I get that part. I mean, he started the fight in my opinion, but he doesn't want to fight. But yeah, Yeah, he wasn't intentional, and that's just like a whole lot of people. But that's not the first time he hasn't been intentional. So that's it for me. Next,
Stacy, say it one more time. I want to make sure I don't miss it.
What you want me to say though?
The last question you just asked.
Like 5 minutes ago. Do you feel like Linden was like just exhausted from the process, or do you feel like he knew he was like he had already conceded, like he had given up and he was just going through the motions of being a good friend?
I mean, it was kind of hard to tell because from the beginning, I've always said that his dating journey was kind of lazy, in my opinion. I felt like at the end, like it truly did become personal for him. And I kind of feel like he was trying to find a way to let Morgan know that Tony wasn't good for her. And he just couldn't think of many ways to make it clear other than just finally saying it. And when that didn't work, I felt it was easier for him to say, no, I'm not the guy for you.
did somebody other than myself, I'm just jog my memory if anybody can take accountability. A gentleman on this panel, I don't know which one, because if I did, I would say it. Somebody said Linden is like a hunter. Well, that's his style. He's a hunter. Did anybody say that? Somebody said it.
No, I said,
I said that.
yeah, they
I said
all
that a
have
while
different
ago,
hunting
but
styles.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I feel
and
like
he's got a lazy style. He's got a lazy lion style.
right,
I agree with that.
Okay.
yeah, and it's funny because most Jamaicans are pretty much hunting hardcore. So that's gonna be a side conversation that I want to have with Linden in the real world. Like,
Not Daddy PO, therapist. Ooh,
yeah,
look at him. Producer,
Yeah,
therapist,
I need answers.
counselor,
Hmm. Right on.
deliver.
Right.
Mm. Okay. I don't know what else I don't know. It's crazy because even though like we're almost at the end, I think I just was really done a few episodes ago. Like it just got to the point where it just wasn't fun for me, not even reviewing it. Like it was getting to the point where I was like, oh my God, it's Friday. I do not want to go live. Like in the beginning, I was like, okay, I was interested. In the middle, I was like, oh my God, this is starting to get good. By like episode 8 or 9, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of good with it. I don't know. I hope that, also too, let me know in the comments if you're watching this replay back. Let us know down below who your predictions are for your couples. I know for me, you know what? I don't even know no more.
Do you
I don't
even
know.
care? Is the question.
And I think that's what it is. I don't know. I want to care. Because like I want to follow through. I want to see this process through even for myself. Like because I'm so loyal to it, but it's
Right.
just not giving what it's supposed to give. And I think because in my head, I feel like none of the connections are real. So it's like I want to be like none of them. But I don't want to go off of like what I feel like in here. I want to go off of what I see like on TV. If I could go by what I see on TV, I feel like Mercedes and Anthony are going to end up together. Morgan and Tony are going to end up together. Cynthia and Anthony are going to end up together. Jeffrey and Andre are going to end up together. That's just what I would think. You know what I mean? Because like, and if I had to pick any couple that I felt like was real, that was really like into it, it would be Cynthia and Anthony. And that's about it. I feel like that would be the only real couple if I had to go off of, if I had to give something, you know.
Yeah, I'm in alignment with you, with the exception of this. I feel like when it comes to the bridge, this needs to be the time where Morgan needs to step up and put on her, adult panties and say, I can't take toxic people in my life. I can't do a relationship like this. And against all of the feelings that I have, I'm out and I'm choosing myself.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That everything else, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
So, all right, real quick, because I don't even want to get into all that, because I know we did it last week and I'm over it. Real quick, at the very end of the previews, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it. At the very end, when Morgan meets Tony, she says, she mentions the entanglement that Tony has with Natasha. And I know when I was live on Friday, and if you guys did not catch that live, make sure you go back to my live reaction watch party. I do it every Fridays when the show is actually on. You can go back and check that out. And I put a picture of Natasha and we kind of briefly talked about it. But do y'all know anything about, like, did I miss something during the season when Natasha and Tony had something going on, like in the very beginning? Because I wasn't really that invested in the beginning. So did I miss something?
Well, no, you didn't.
No.
No, you didn't miss anything, but you know how it goes at a typical mixer, where you're going around, you come into the mixer, and most of the guys, anytime we talk to people, we're getting the numbers. I think, because I think she was the first one to go, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that he probably had her number and was like, yo, I'm sorry that you had left so early and all, you know what I'm saying? But, I could
be real, Paul.
Paul's being real because he's speaking from experience.
Yeah.
No, but he's saying it sounds like you're saying it like just momentarily at that day. He had to still be.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I think
I'm saying,
Paul's speaking as someone who kept in touch with someone that got
eliminated
on day one.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, I could probably, see what's up, like, and he probably checked in and kept checking, and then got out of the process for a minute, only to jump back in it, and then all hell blew up, and it was like, yo, yeah.
I don't know, because an entanglement,
I mean, that can happen quite easily.
That sounds like more than just talking.
Exactly. That sounds like I heard something and I need to let you know what I had heard.
I think that's what keeps him off the bridge.
Yeah, I feel, exactly.
Ignites the grand exit.
I wonder how long. I wonder how long she's been sitting on this. She probably knew this whole time and was like, checkmate.
Yeah, she gonna be like, grand exit activate, like the Wonder Twins. Bam.
If I was to guess, I would think she found it. I would say she found out at the mansion. If I was to guess.
Yeah, I think she probably, while he was sleeping, she probably went through his phone, because that's what toxic people do.
Probably. Wait a minute, hold up.
Because number one, who was brought up but Marcia? So we know that he had been having communications, feelings, thoughts, feelings, connections with another woman as well. So now we're adding Morgan plus 2 to this whole entanglement. And Morgan, one thing we've seen about her is that she is a jealous, like, has jealous tendencies, and she flips out when she has these tendencies, hence Narragate. So if she had known all this time, we would have seen her flipping out about it before. I agree with you. I think she saw the phone while they were at the retreat.
Yeah, because after Linden left, she probably didn't spend the night in her own room after that. It was like, oh, Tony, Here I come.
Well, after Linden
Which
left,
granted.
she was probably like, after Linden left, she was probably like, let me see. I'm gonna find out, and probably went through his phone and also found information regarding Natasha. That's probably what happened. That's how
And
it
you know,
happens when you go look for one thing, you find something else.
So I'll tell you this too.
Linden might have called him when he got home. Oh, sis, I forgot to say about the other one at the table. It was one more.
And this is the funny part right here.
I like
The funny part is a lot of people think that, you know, when they say you ready, you know, you're not ready or whatever, and you want to retreat, you know, that you still be hanging around, lingering or whatever. No, they really get you out of there because quickly, like in that moment, you're whisked away. And if you're not like near society, they get you to the nearest hotel and you be gone. So you don't know nothing else about nothing else. And once that happens, people feel comfortable about letting it all out.
Didn't they say Tina was upstairs on your episode of the
Except
retreat?
for that.
Except, yeah, I wanted to bring that up, definitely. Tell me she was gone. She upstairs.
Hold on, P.O. Let me hit this one.
But I want to hit a quick thought. I don't think we ever mentioned about, was it when someone knocked on the door when Tony said, I thought that was Marcia coming back or something like that. Anybody remember that statement? Well, maybe I'm sleeping.
No, I think
that might have been in Tony's confessional.
Oh, okay, yeah. He
So
wanted
on the
Marcia.
screen is Natasha. That's because a couple people were like, "Who's Natasha?" So this is Natasha.
I was a lawyer, right?
Yeah, I think she was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. They're probably like the same height. He probably had, you know, he was trying to get after that.
Oh, so FYI, I found out that, I mean, I'm not saying that Tony is tall, and I'm just saying we might have been a little off because I found out that Morgan is tall. Morgan is not short. Morgan is
how tall is Morgan?
She's like 5'8".
Really?
Right. That's what I said too. I was like, really? Yeah.
So he's got to be like 5'7" then.
What? He's taller than her. He's got her by at least like a couple inches.
Really?
They look like they're about the same height.
I showed a picture. I can't remember where it was. Maybe it was last episode, but I showed a picture where they were literally standing side by side. Like you could tell it was a real picture. They were standing side by side. It was another picture where it looked like they were the same height, but in the picture you could clearly see that he was taller than her. I don't remember where it is though.
Oh, so Tony is like, he probably got to be like 5'9". But I mean,
I'm thinking he's probably like 6 foot.
I know 6 feet. I see you.
No, he's got shorter limbs, so I don't think I think arms are short for a 6 foot man. I thought J-Dub was short until I saw him in the real world. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's up there. You know what I mean? J-Dub, you like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4"?
Like 6'2.5".
Okay, yeah. So he's like 6'3". Yeah, J-Dub is up there. I thought he was short in the real world.
How you gonna say he's like 6'2" and he's gonna say he's 3? See how men do?
He said 6'2.5" and 6'3".
Yeah, that's like 6'3". Yeah, a half an inch.
Right.
But you said like
J-Dub
6'2.5".
And J-Dub is diesel too.
I don't have time for y'all, man. Y'all toxic. Yeah. You toxic men. Men who lie about their height are toxic.
Well, I'm over 6 feet. How about that?
Right.
That's a guaranteed fact.
Yeah, J-Dub is diesel too. He looked like he'd be over there eating nails and bricks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to conclude this episode of Ready to Love, episode number 11. I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so very much. Shout out to my panelists. I want them to go around the room, if you guys don't mind. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and all your socials and where they can reach you.
It's been fun. Tyrone from Ready to Love DC. You can catch me at Ty Wilson 21. I know I haven't been putting out content, but I got my last piece of equipment in today. It is a drone, so there's a high possibility that I might even post something tomorrow using this drone.
Yay. All right, it's J-Dub.
YouTube world, it's your boy J-Dub, the #1 commenter. I'm just glad I could make this live. It was a stretch, but I'm here, and yeah, I want y'all to forget about me. You can find me on YouTube on It's J-Dub doing reality reviews on pretty much any and everything when I got the time. So I appreciate everybody.
P.O.
Yeah, shout out to J-Dub, by the way, man, because it's not a true panel unless I get his negative energy every once in a while. So I really appreciate that. You know, I got him to my right and Stacey B to my left. So, you know, it's the dual crunch, you know, so I love it. But it's PO, 100 sightings on IG. You know, that's what I do. That's where I live. And if you want tracks, never mind. Stacey B.
Stacey B.
I mean, you know, I keep it simple. I'm just Stacey B on Instagram, Stacey_B.
All right, guys. And just to let you know, shout out to Another Round. Another Round is one of my moderators, and she is also part of the Seoul Mate community. And of course, if you guys are in the chat, you see the links that we are putting down below. You can actually click on the links and go right to the panelist page. She just also put up Sharice's Instagram. Sharice had to leave us. So shout out to Another Round. You can find Another Round on her channel, which is Another Round. You can also follow her on Instagram as Another Round. And shout out to Kojo for making a special appearance in the chat. And you can also find Another Round because she actually reviews shows as well. And she reviews them over on Kojo's channel, which is Little Black Book 91. Shout out to Ages and Stages, Simone and Rashid. They actually just interviewed Blake. And if you want to catch that interview out, it was dope. I watched it. It really made me look at Blake in a whole nother light. I'm going to have Jonique here on Wednesday for The Missing Link. I'm going to have Wendell Moss here on The Missing Link on Thursday. And just to let everybody know, Blake is doing interviews because he will be here next week along with Blue from Ready to Love Miami. So both of them from Ready to Love Miami will be here interviewing with me on The Missing Link next week. I will see you guys on Friday for episode number 12. I'm excited to get this thing rolling because I am ready for the reunion. Anyway, don't forget to click that thumbs up on the way out. If you have not subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. You can follow me on all my social media platforms at Miss Sabrina Soul. And other than that, love you guys.